Now, live from the Blind Ninja Studios in Western Wisconsin, a show with no purpose, hosted by experts at drinking, and they're almost definitely wearing pants. It's time for the Department of Offense.
Welcome to episode 233 of the Department of Offense. I'm your host, Casey. Joining me as always is Carlos.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Matt.
Hi.
And Rick.
Hey, buddy.
And Pete.
Hello.
And Brian.
So,
Brian, this is like your, third time?
is this 3?
He's not special guest anymore. He's
Yeah,
just
no.
he's
Now
a
you're just
friend.
like, now you're a friend of the show, and like 2 more shows, and you're a co-host. Like that. I think that's how that works, right?
You move up quick.
Oh, man.
Holy smoke.
It took me like 2 years to get co-host on Homebrew Bound.
Well,
Just giving it away now.
Didn't like you, man. I don't. But you kept showing up
That's
anyway.
fair. That's fair.
There's a whole
It's
situation.
one of those, like, I'm a dumber now situations.
Fuck. All right. Before we get too deep here, I want to give a shout out to our patrons because they are awesome.
Thank you, patrons.
If you would like to be as awesome as their patrons, head on over to patreon.com/blindstudios and become a patron today. All right. Well, let's just kind of dive right into this. Usually I go to the left, so I'm going to keep going to
Dive,
the
dude.
left.
Do it.
Brian, what have you been up to since the last time you've been on the show? And can we get this man a coaster?
Oh,
Dude needs a
smokes.
coaster.
Yeah.
He's got one.
Bang, bang. Mine says dog, beer, Lucy, gin.
That's mine.
Oh, I'll use.
yeah, you can have any one, but that
No, that
so we're
one is
looking
can't
at
have
that
that.
one's descriptively mine.
coasters that have
That one's speedy.
Scrabble
Oh, yeah, no.
letters.
So Carlos decided to start matching the letters into words.
Carlos is into crafts.
Mine's beer eats zero taco.
That's mine.
Beers don't eat tacos, dude. Beer
But I
eats
eat
zero
tacos.
taco.
But I beer and I eat and I taco.
But beer eats zero taco.
Yeah, we're not talking about you right now. We're talking about Brian.
Let's talk about Brian.
What have I been doing? I went, so the one time I think maybe I was gonna be on the show, but then I decided I would go to a Caveman Battle Doom show.
Oh yeah, that was the last time we were gonna go to Dave's Brew Farm.
Correct. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
We did today. That was amazing.
Dude,
Amaze
yeah.
balls.
Dave's beard. That is a beard.
Oh, pretty good. Pretty
Dave
good,
has
yeah.
a good beard.
If you saw Dave on the corner and he had a shopping cart, man.
You'd
pass him
right up.
You'd be like, that dude has earned that shopping cart.
Yeah.
Just being honest over here, you pass him right up.
What a
I would have
dick.
given him a couple.
I'd probably try to give him a couple bucks.
I'd like to think that I would.
No,
but,
man, he had enough money for product to put in his beard. You wouldn't give him a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
I can't talk shit about his appearance, I just did, but I get a little fanboy about Dave's Brew Farm.
He's a cool dude. He makes
Super
good
cool
beer,
dude.
and like he just doesn't give a fuck.
Nope,
Yeah, that's the
doesn't
best
care.
part of him. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
what I noticed while we were there was Dave was like, style guidelines? No, we're not doing that.
Fuck those.
He showed him
And it still tasted
to
good.
us, but was like, whatevs.
He's like, yeah, no, I have these, but these are the things that I don't do.
Like one of the most badass brewers I've ever seen. Just like, these are the guidelines, but no, we're not doing that here.
Thanks, but no thanks.
And it was kind of awesome because the beer tasted good anyway.
So besides, we went to Dave's, but I like however many weeks ago I went to my Caveman Battle Doom show. I saw a band called Conan,
Oh, I've heard them.
or is it Conan?
Either
Were
way.
they
I think it's
barbarians or
Conan.
no?
They sounded barbaric enough. It did,
I think
was
they
fun.
pronounce it Conan.
They probably say they're from like England, Bristol.
I was gonna say, I hope they're from like
Bristol.
Manitoba or something. Sounds about
They're
right.
English.
Not everything exotic is from Canada, Matt.
You're the one that said exotic.
Why does Canada come up so often on this show? Like,
We like Canadians a lot.
I don't know. Death
We
metal
just
and
wanna
Canada
be
go
them.
together.
Sorry about that.
sorry.
Sorry it comes up so much.
It's okay. So besides that, on Sunday I like to at least try to tune into this show that I'm on. And last week I I was watching it and then was like, oh, you know what? No, I'm gonna stop watching it because then I won't be able to listen to it on Monday or whatever on the way home from work. So I stopped watching it. Plus, I don't remember who.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was loud as balls.
Yeah,
someone
turn that
buzzed.
shit off. Put that on silent.
I am. I messed up. My bad.
Sorry, Brian, for
No, that's
Rick's rude interruption.
That's all right. Other than that, it was St. Patrick's Day, and I know you guys did. You did like a board game night thing or whatever. But
we tried to do a board game night, and then Carlos and I decided to solve mysteries of Sherlock Holmes.
that's right. Yeah.
We solved a mystery.
We'll have to
We
talk
solved
about-
mystery.
we'll have to talk about
The
that
mystery
later.
of who beats Timmy.
Singular.
Yeah, we solved. But he wouldn't tell anybody because he couldn't talk.
Before we were here, we were at Bobtown eating foods, all of us, and we did a parade there on St. Patrick's Day that was only 2 blocks long.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
It was really weird. It was good, I guess, if you're gonna
I
be.
heard that they're the hosts of it. Like they're the ones that got it
Yeah.
going.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That was really
If
interesting.
you're gonna do a parade, it might as well only be 2 blocks.
We only had enough candy.
Well, I
for
mean,
2
we've
blocks.
been to Ettrick numerous times, so
How much candy did you bring that you only had enough candy for 2 blocks?
1 bucket.
We brought 1 package of Smarties.
We raided. What is the dollar store in Roberts?
Dollar General?
Yeah, Dollar General. We went in there and it was slim pickings, and the woman was like, "Why's everybody coming in to get candy?"
Everybody raided to the Dollar General for the parade.
And we got the last of pretty much everything. Who's gonna get this candy? Who's
So what kind
This
of
lady
candy?
is like 145 years old.
What kind of candy did you guys throw?
blow pops?
From a bucket, which is a
they're
standardized measurement.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It was every.
when you're doing parade candies, bucket is the standardized measurement.
But the bucket we ended up with was from, I don't know, pick a Disney movie.
All right.
Frozen.
Sure, it had some characters from.
It had
that
a
on
princess, like a generic princess, generic white person in blue dress.
The worst part about the parade though was that right before it went, I went Facebook Live because I was like, oh, we should do like a live thing, and I went Facebook Live and then I forgot and then I put it into between.
Facebook Live, my
I put it in
dick.
between my legs and it took a video of like the sky and me shouting out, "Candy bar everyone! Candy bar everyone! Candy bar everyone!"
It's like the worst Nazi propaganda everywhere.
The children were happy.
So that's how you get it started.
All right.
Fucking Facebook Live.
Pretty cool.
All right, well, over on Pete Cam, we got P.
Pete Cam is turning into
Oh my gosh,
somebody
there's-
else Cam.
Just switcher. Switcher.
Well, so we got Pete Cam and Beer Cam over there. So Pete, you are also in charge of showing everybody the beers that we're drinking.
That's a lot of responsibility there.
I don't have any of the beers.
Well, no, we're not there yet.
Oh,
I'm just
but
letting
I
you know.
mean,
For,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Vape.
Vape
I-
cam now.
What I've been up to.
So busy.
We
I gotta
made it-
know, man.
We
I've
made
been
it
so
past
busy.
10,000 since Pete Cam.
Yeah, 10,000 vapes.
Now it's Pete Cam.
10,000 rips off the old vapor.
That was an achievement.
What'd
like
you
90
do for
days.
your for your 10,000 and first vape, man?
Oh, I played a lot of Fortnite.
He forgot about it.
Like, did you have a special flavor? Like,
I don't remember what EGs
Just
I
rolled
had in
right
at the
past.
Did
time.
you decide to
but,
ride the rocket for your 10,000th vape?
what is that, Carlos?
In Fortnite, you can people can shoot a rocket at, and you can jump on the rocket and ride it.
Yep, you can do that.
Did you do that?
I've done it. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty fun.
But not for your 10,000.
It's for
Not for the 10,000. I hit it today, like on the way to meet with you guys, and I didn't even realize.
It's pretty fun hopping on a fake rocket.
Tell
So-
us about the 10,000th vape.
Like, was it amazing?
We
Like,
forgot that we talked about it. On
I
the
forgot
last show he
about
was
it.
on.
Oh, sorry.
Until we talked about 10,000 vapes a little bit ago.
it's like when we showed up with 2 packages of donut holes for Pete, and he's like, "Why'd you get these? Well, because you're gonna beat the record. Oh shit!
It's like, oh, yeah. No, because
I remember that.
Because that day I was like, it's like, all right, if you get donut holes, you're like, fuck, maybe I will. I'm like, oh great, I get to have donut holes that day. Yeah, I'll fucking do whatever you want me to do. So I'm gonna have donut holes on Sunday.
Totally did
that's-
not even come close to the record. Not
No,
even a
I
little.
was aware.
No.
I meant,
Well,
but,
you
no,
But anyways, I've been
let's-
playing a lot of Fortnite, and Carlos, that's all you.
Oh, you're done.
Done now.
I could talk about Fortnite, but I'm not.
I could. It sounded like you're about to go on, and then you just stopped. All
I
right.
will not.
So what have I been doing? Well, last week has been my spring break, and my next round of classes start up this
Thank
week.
God he'll actually start doing shit again.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be playing as many video games is what I would like to say, but I will probably play a bunch of Far Cry 4 since that comes out. Far
When is-
Cry 5
Yeah,
comes
Far
out
Cry 4
this
is
week.
already out.
I already played that one. Let's see what else. The Proto Man vinyl started for Act 2 started dropping apparently and started shipping. So I ended up just about like 15 minutes ago ordered my copy of that. So that'll
Who is Proto Man?
Proto Men are a band.
Whoa.
Protoman?
Yeah, the Proto Man Proto Man.
About
Proto-Man or-
Proto-Man or Protoman?
Proto Men.
Come on now.
Wait, which one?
Proto Men.
Wait, is it men?
Whoa,
is
whoa,
it
is
multiple
it
mans
No
now?
men.
Protoman.
There are multiple men in the group too. So
So is it Proto Man, Proto Men,
Proto
or
Men.
Protoman?
The Proto Men.
It's Protoman.
It still
He's
sounds
got
like
it.
you're saying Protoman.
All right, and that was a bit more than I thought it was going to be. First time I spent $50 on the album, but
$50.
yeah.
What? Did you get a bunch of
Crikey.
like shirts and?
Is there gonna be
No,
stickers?
I did not do that because I didn't want to
poster?
spend like $80+.
Wait, so the vinyl itself was just $50?
Yeah.
Was it like?
Well, it's just a really more like an indie thing that they add as far as selling the stuff. So
Was it
And it's their,
purple
first-
vinyl?
Oh, is there a picture on the vinyl
I don't know.
that we can watch spin in a circle?
I hope not. Because why would you want to do that? That's a stupid thing to do.
Because it's fun.
I was really excited about
Carlos
watching
doing what
it.
he's good at, shitting all over everything.
If you're gonna spend that much money on vinyl, it better do something like be like
Glow in the
they're always
dark?
like, oh, it's on
that'd be
190
cool.
gram.
Bayside
vat-
did a
Well,
glow in the
I
dark
mean,
album.
That would still only be
180
like $20
grains.
though. So
Well,
that's
the thing
why I
is,
wanna know
like-
if there's more to it.
Well, it's basically like the number of songs that are on the vinyl are.
So is it a 2-disc vinyl?
Yeah, it's 2 discs.
Okay.
And
Okay,
there's
but
a lot of songs.
alright,
on
is
there.
there a
That's
picture
better.
on there?
That's better.
I'm not sure, Casey, because
Is it
they
glow in
had
the dark?
old images on there. Oh, no one fucking arrives.
He hasn't even
Don't
joined.
get salty, man. I was just asking questions.
You better put that on Pete Cam.
We better get this
Yeah.
on
So, but
Pete.
yeah, that's basically it.
It's always on Pete.
All right, man. Rick?
Since the last time I was on the show, not a ton of stuff. I mean, I've been working, and then we went camping this weekend.
Yeah, we did. That was
That's
fun.
about that. Yeah. So, first camping trip of the year. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, my dad did not enjoy it
Casey,
at all.
yeah, your dad joined us and then was cold and didn't sleep at all.
Yep. He's
we-
like, yeah, I'm really down for winter camping.
Yeah, he was. He was super down for it until the next morning when he was like, "How'd you guys sleep?" And we were both like, "Oh, just great. It was nice. Like we had a great
morning's
time."
the worst
And
time.
then he's like, "Yeah, I didn't sleep at all." And we were just both like, "Oh, dang."
That's
Sorry.
And he was really quiet on the walk down the hill.
Yeah, he was. Because he just wanted to get home and nap because he hadn't slept all night.
And just like, okay.
It was too bad. Like, I slept wonderfully. Like, we
like
had
he had a
great
fire
time.
sword at one point. Like that was a whole thing.
Yeah, he
Like,
did do that.
My dad was like, fire sword. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean that.
No, he definitely did do that. He backtracked hard on it.
Fire sword.
He's like, no, that's too much whimsy. We can't have that right now.
Yeah.
Gotta bring it down a couple notches.
Gotta be more serious. But no, it was a great time. I enjoyed it, getting out and doing the old campy ski, and
Campy ski.
Campus
little
ski.
camp ski, and it was a good time. Other than that, I haven't done a whole ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we
But-
took a little break from camping. We went to that bar in Afton.
Yeah. In the middle of the camping trip, we were like, let's take a hike. And then we hiked. And then we were like, let's go get a beer.
They were like 5 miles in, and we're like, a beer sounds real good.
Yeah, beer
right
sounded
now.
good. And then we were like, well, I don't have the keys. So we hiked back up the hill.
Yeah, another mile
To
up
the
the fucking
campsite.
hill.
And then we went down and had a burger and a beer. That was really good.
That's some good camping, guys.
It was a good break
Hey,
from the
Matt,
camping.
how many times have you slept outside this winter?
I don't want to sleep.
Well,
outside.
fuck you then.
No, it was a good time. I mean, we never make a claim to be like hardcore deep woods campers. So
We are campers who like pie.
yeah, we got pie last time. It was great. We went and got some pie, and it was amazing. This time we went and got a burger and a beer. And when we were in the bar, the lady was like, "Does it seem cold to you guys in
And
here?"
we're like, we spent the night outside.
So-
It's great.
It feels good. She's like, "Oh, it's 67. It's really cold." Okay, crank her up then. Who cares? Because it's better than 24.
All right, Matt. What have you been up to, man?
I saw Black Panther.
How great was it?
That was pretty great. I saw Annihilation, and I watched Jumanji, and that is my life.
Dude, Jumanji was so good.
It was really
How
good.
great was that movie?
That's what I've heard.
I laughed quite a bit.
I was going into it like this is gonna be okay.
Yep.
And then I was rolling at times.
It was good, especially when like Jack Black was peeing, and it was the girl that was in his
Yeah,
body,
and she's
it's
like, "How does it work? I
And-
don't understand."
and then he gets a erection, and then she's like, "Whoa, these things are crazy." It's pretty great. Pretty great.
Yeah. And I don't know. I really like the short guy. What's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart and The Rock playing off of each other.
Yeah, it's pretty
That
good.
is absolutely delightful.
They're always really good together.
The short guy.
The short guy.
He's like 2 feet tall. He's shorter than Tom Cruise.
Hey, he's at least 4.
2 feet tall.
Well, I watched about half of Annihilation and went to sleep. Was it good or
It was good.
okay?
Wait, where did you watch half of Annihilation?
What do you mean?
He downloaded it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to address that, but I did.
Okay. No, I'm waiting for it to. Is it finally on streaming?
It's on
sites,
Netflix.
or-
It's on Netflix in Europe.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Ah,
One of those ones. So
yeah.
it's not quite illegal.
yeah.
But,
I really want to see it.
I watched half of it and then I fell asleep and I was like, "Oh no, I fell asleep," because it was interesting, like what I
It's an
saw,
interesting
but I was
movie.
just super tired.
Well, and it
you
has Natalie Portman in it.
Did you see the
Yeah.
beast that like takes like absorbs people?
When I said half, I meant probably like the first 30 minutes.
He didn't see the beast that
No.
absorbs people. That's the creepiest part of the whole
Like
movie.
maybe the first 20 minutes, 15
One
maybe.
third.
I heard it was a really good
Yeah,
movie.
it
I
was
really
not
wanna see
half.
it.
It's interesting.
I exaggerated the half. It was definitely less.
Okay.
Did you see Tomb Raider yet?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I haven't gone to the movie theater yet. Well,
Dang,
I
nabbit,
did
Matt.
because I went to Black Panther, but
Okay.
I'll get to it.
All right. Well, you better because it was
Because Alicia Vickers, or whatever her name is.
Vikander. But yeah,
Vikander.
Vickers. I mean, yeah, no, she's definitely a priest.
I like that. I like
That's right, because we use old timey words around here.
Keep her moving.
All right, so this past week, let's see, what did I do? I ran this awesome thing called Legends of Lothos on Monday night.
Yeah.
And nobody died.
Nobody died. Carlos found out that people didn't like dwarves when he tried to wash his clothes in a bathtub.
Carlos.
It was a
It was a public bathtub.
It was a giant bathtub that a
It was
lot
a-
of other people were in.
It was a public bathtub, and you're like, I'm going to wash my clothes
Yeah,
right
you were
here.
washing your clothes in the
You
spot.
forgot the poop part.
Well, they didn't offer a
Well,
laundry
yeah,
service.
no, they were covered in poop. Yeah, no, they didn't offer one because they didn't do laundry there.
Yeah, and that's a very big problem for me.
It wasn't DIY laundry day at.
But I made it
At
that.
the public bathhouse. Like, just dip your poop clothes in here while everyone else trying to get clean.
Yeah,
That's
so if
cool.
you guys want to learn more about that, tune in every Monday night live at 8 p.m.
Lie.
Central.
In a world.
Yeah. Oh.
Where people don't
let's
let
see.
dwarves wash poop clothes in the public
Carlos,
bath.
they wouldn't let anybody wash poop clothes in the public bath. can't like be like, I'm playing the dwarf card right now.
Well, they didn't have to be so racist about it.
I didn't try and wash my clothes. Otherwise, it probably would have been the same thing for me too.
And Pete just waded in, armor and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. all the attention was focused on, so it's just like, oh, well, get in,
Yeah,
get the
so
fuck in.
so I did that on Monday, and then went camping with Rick this weekend.
It's a good time.
That's a lot of fun.
Ricola.
Then went to Dave's Brew Farm and Bobtown. Had some good beers, had a good time, and now we're doing this show. That's a whole thing.
Sure.
We're here.
Now we're here doing this.
Duh.
So, but we have a beer going around right now.
Do you want me to pour you one, Casey?
Yes, please. So, we are drinking Still Make Brewing Companies. That's Still Mank. Like Still Stank, but Still Mank.
Yeah.
Yep. Their barrel-aged porter, Gold Wax. It's 8.5% ABV with 20 IBUs. Description on this is 5 different spirit-soaked
down.
oak barrels were filled with porter, aged, then blended back together. We used 2 bourbon barrels that were filled on 9-10-16. Also 2 bourbon barrels filled on 10-25-16 with added cacao nibs. And 1 Templeton Rye whiskey barrel filled on 1-3-17. In this 11-21-7, there's a lot of goddamn dates here.
Yeah.
Vintage. You still have some smooth, easygoing flavors with a richer, heavier body. Then added cacao nibs are not immediately the added cacao nibs are not immediately obvious, but do complement the combination of bourbon barrels with rich, strong aromas and mouthfeel. So basically, they took. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 different bourbon barrels filled at 3 different times and blended them together. And in one of them, they added cacao nibs.
Yeah, well, it was 5 different ones. 2, and then 1.
Yeah, so 2 of the
Different
same.
times. Yeah.
Or
And
4, 2 of the same.
Yep. And then 2 of the
And 2
same
different
kind
times.
as before at a different time, and then a different one.
Let me check that bottle quick. Right quick.
You pass
Real
it
quick here.
around.
Real quick here.
Pass it down.
And these
So-
guys are in Green Bay, right?
Yeah, so I went out
Still
to
Mank. Okay.
Yeah, I went out to Green Bay with the girlfriend. She's from that area, and stopped at Stillmank, and the brewery is pretty cool. I tried a few of their beers. I haven't tried this one.
What size brewery?
What's that?
What size brewery?
It's pretty small. I
About.
couldn't tell you exactly like the barrel size and everything.
I clicked on their about page. We'll see what we got.
Yeah, it's not a big one. They consider themselves a microbrewery and everything. Like, not a very big building and pretty small tap room. Like, in general, it was a pretty small operation. But the lady working there, like, full disclosure, didn't know a whole lot. She didn't know how to operate the crowler machine, so I couldn't get a crowler. So that's why I ended up with this beer, because it's the only one that was bottled, and she didn't know how to work the crowler. But I tried a couple of the beers that they had there. Like, their ESB was super good. I tried an IPA that was pretty good. So I haven't tried this one. Hopefully this one's good too, because they've got a good track record with me so far. What's up? You want to shade up? All right.
Oh yeah. Wow, is everybody
it wasn't-
except
it
Casey?
wasn't-
Everybody's shading up.
It wasn't really a thing, but
Well,
since
fuck you guys.
Dark. This beer's dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
You guys are dicks.
Who said
My
that?
shades are dark.
I can't do this. in
For
this-
our listeners, everybody is wearing sunglasses in the studio except Casey.
Well, I was trying to look up things while Rick was talking, and you guys decided to be like, I'm going to be an
I saw
asshole.
you
right
looking
now.
at your phones.
This one's got a nice
Let's not
ruby
look at my
Z.
phone.
What's up?
He's looking at the
Oh,
computer.
your computer. Sorry.
Hey,
Got a
Pete,
ruby haze.
cheers, bro.
Sorry that I was trying to do
Cheers
my
on
job.
10,000 vapes,
Oh,
homie.
son.
All right, Brian, what do you think about this beer?
Well, let's drink. Aroma.
Aroma.
It was what I would normally associate with barrel-aged porter, especially since you were saying bourbon barrels, yeah?
Yeah.
Bourbon.
Bourbon.
Bunch
Yeah,
of
it's got those bourbon notes. In it.
3 different kinds of bourbon.
Oh, the boy.
Whoa, tons of vanilla. Mellow nut bitter, which is for me good. I really like this one. I like all of these kinds of beers. We're drinking out of about a 2 or 3 ounce
Yeah.
glass here. Yeah, I could probably do about 2-3 ounces of this. I'm happy with it. It's good.
It's a good amount.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's nice and mellow. It's not overly bitter. You can tell it was aged with care and blended well. I guess that vanilla. That's very indicative of charred oak barrels
Yeah.
that have had bourbon aged in them, and then beer.
Pete, did you show the bottle on the Pete cam?
Nope, not yet. It's the beer cam.
We need some like club music going.
It's a nice looking bottle. I mean,
Flashing lights.
it's not too complex.
Ooh, man.
Looks elegant.
Looking good. Looking
How
good.
are we looking here?
Looking good, man.
It's a fairly elegant looking bottle. It looks nice.
Pretty
We
nice.
were just
how is she
talking
looking on
about
Pete
not
Cam,
having
huh?
live sex on our show.
How does it look?
What?
Yeah, we will never have live sex on the show, Matt.
But
I know
we'll
you
ha-
keep pushing for it.
He was the one that said it earlier.
It's not that kind of studio, guys. It's not that kind of studio.
Guys, I have this idea.
Blind Ninja Studio.
We're not gonna. We can't. We're on Twitch, right?
Yes.
Moving along.
All right.
Moving
Keep
along.
Pete, what do you think about the beer, man?
It's good. I really couldn't have a whole lot of it. I get a lot of burn from it. Not that really describes anything about the beer,
This is hot.
but
You get a little
I do get the
booze.
charred oak in there, a little bit of vanilla after he mentioned it. Yeah, it's pretty.
It's pretty.
For me, it's pretty heavy for me. As far as the
It's heavy,
the
but
barrel
not
character, I guess, the
too
bourbon
heavy.
character.
Carlos?
It's pretty good. Like I'm trying to look for flavors besides that vanilla, and if I'm mostly just they must be too subtle for me. So yeah, pretty good otherwise.
Yeah. I pick up vanilla. There's that bourbony character. It's a little boozy. At 8.5%, I think the booze shines through a little more just because it's a porter, not a stout. That's barrel aged.
Agree.
Because it's just got a little bit lighter body, so the booziness shines through a little more. But I kind of I like that about it is it's not heavy. Typically when you think barrel aged, your first thing is stouts. You're barrel aging stouts a lot of the time.
Yep.
And it's not unheard of to barrel age a porter or anything like that, but
We just did.
right, it's typically not as often as stouts. Stouts are your barrel aged
Yeah.
things that you think of first. So it's a little different from that, and I like that because it's a little bit more drinkable than an imperial stout that's barrel aged. So the drinkability of it is nice. It obviously makes you notice the booze a little more, but those vanilla characters, the cocoa nibs are in there for me as a supportive flavor on the back end.
Yeah, they're there, but they're supportive.
Yeah, and that's and as it was described in the description from the brewery, but it's really nice because it comes in there at the end and it's nice supportive flavor that comes in, a little bit of complexity but not too much. It's not a super complex beer, but just enough for me to be interested in it to keep trying to explore flavors in it.
Yep. Matt?
I am in the infancy of appreciating barrel aged beers.
So you're a barrel baby.
I'm a barrel baby. I'm not a big fan of this. The boozy character just kind of take over it, and it's kind of like a pungent taste at the end. I think that's a terrible way to describe it, but I don't know. That's what I feel.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of it.
No, I can see what you're saying. There's a lot of barrel character on the back
Yeah.
end.
There is.
I've had a lot of barrel aged beers on here throughout the time of
Yep.
this, and this one definitely. I don't know about that.
I find it very, for lack of a better term, vanilla rose esque. 'Cause
Yeah, I can see that,
We've
yeah.
had a lot of vanilla rose on this show,
Right.
And that's Pitchfork's barrel aged porter,
Right.
and so that's kind of my go to when I'm comparing barrel aged porters. It's a lot like this, except this one has a lot more chocolate, a little bit more vanilla,
Right.
and I really like that toasty barrel in the back end.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, I totally see where Matt's coming from, not being a barrel-aged fan.
Yeah.
But I am a barrel-aged fan, and I like the barrel character that it picks up. Like, that's put off on the back end. It's almost like it's smoky.
Well,
but
it's
not-
almost like a graham cracker s'more like thing. Like,
yeah,
right
it's
at the end.
it's almost like a little bit like smoky, but not like smoked malt smoky, but like from the barrel, like that toasted like charred oak type of flavor.
Charred, but not charred. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to describe it the best I can without finding.
Well,
the
and
right
then it gets to
words,
the root of the thing that we keep talking about is there's not a good vocabulary or a shared vocabulary for beer,
yeah, but
and so we just kind of make up words.
yeah.
It feels good.
It does. All right, so we're going to skip over Brian and go straight to Pete. For what number would you give this beer?
We're gonna do an 8.
Nate, all right.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'd give it an 8.5. I think this is a pretty good barrel-aged porter.
Going for a 6.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah.
What did
think eight
Casey say?
I said an 8.
Or I'm sorry, Carlos.
I give it a 7.
7. Okay.
I mean,
Which isn't it's not a bad score.
we're not the same person, okay?
I know, but I'm always like curious when you guys are doing a beer on this show, like if
we're
so-
usually very close,
Yeah.
but we drink a lot of the same beers.
It's almost
You
like
don't wanna throw.
like
a
he's
rating
always
out
gonna
there,
say
Brian?
it. Sometimes maybe he just
Oh,
takes
I don't-
my score.
I don't want to throw. I mean, we're like out of 10.
We're out of 10 on the show. Yeah.
These beers.
I mean, if
are-
you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm just saying.
No,
They
and
usually
that's why I was
don't.
jumped over that.
Right.
I mean, these kinds of beers are. I like 2 or 3 ounces of it, and then I'm good. But you really shouldn't judge anything in 2 or 3 ounces.
Sure.
Yeah, I get that.
We judge everything, though.
Yeah,
Well,
we
like,
do.
Like,
we're
like
judgy.
my very first sip of it,
Well,
I was thinking like, is this like at first I thought, wait, did I just taste cleaning chemicals? Like, and after that I was like, no, it's fine.
No. So, like, we do abide by the 3-sip rule.
Right.
You can't make a judgment until you've had at least 3 sips of a thing.
Well, and I think our listeners understand that we're pretty subjective.
Oh,
Like,
100%
it's
subjective.
It's fully about what you taste.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm 100% objective with my scores and ratings.
Fuck you.
Sometimes they're
I
random.
just feel like
Sometimes you just assign a number you don't even care about.
That's
Hi,
what numbers
Carlos.
are.
So, Carlos, we're just not going to tell you which beers we hand you are infected during our infected tasting thing.
You're like a 9 to fuck DMS or something.
Like when we did the American light lager tasting, I think Carlos was 0 for 10.
I'm pretty sure I got 1 just out because you have to get at least 1 right.
You got 1 right on odds.
Man, I don't know. I just feel like these types of beers should be judged accordingly by people that drink a lot of them and really understand
So
our
really just
experts.
not by us.
how
Hey
they
man,
should
that's
work.
fair.
With expert
That's fair.
badges on.
I was just giving you an opportunity. If you wanted to, you could.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, see, and I was just trying not to put him on the spot. Thanks
Yeah.
for ruining that.
No, I'm not trying to
for
put him
me-
on the spot. Like, if he wants to throw a number out, he can. If he doesn't,
I
he
mean, you
doesn't have
did
to.
though put him on the spot.
For me, I like them. I like them more mellow and not bitter. And this one was really nice, mellow, and seemed very carefully blended. So I
We should do that
do
every time we ask
appreciate
Rick
it.
about like
Yeah.
lambic or sour or anything. Like,
Exactly.
I
Let's
don't get
skip
into
over
those
Rick.
really
We'll
either.
go to the next person.
Yeah, if
Right.
you're
Well, that's the thing though. Like on this show, like we'll pass a sour around, and I'll be like 2 because I don't like the style.
Yeah.
Like so, it's all subjective. Like,
I don't get into sour candy. If this was a candy show, and we were like
We've done that.
Yeah.
if we were just eating candy instead of drinking beer, then
I
if
just
you
don't
guys
like
handed me
candy
sour
to begin
candy, I'd be
with.
like, too.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I don't like sour at all.
Well, nobody likes
I
sour
like
candies.
Nerd,
Like,
kidding me?
Nerd
Wait, I take
liquor
that back.
throat.
I like sour candies.
Yeah, but
Like-
you were eating sour candies all day on last Monday, weren't you? All night.
Sometimes
but
Sour
Carlos-
gummy worms.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, I was.
maybe there's
Carlos
like no
is
other
Satan,
candy though.
So
If there's no
I don't know
other
what you're talking
candy,
about.
then
Then I'm gonna eat the sour candy because it's candy.
just saying.
But if I have a choice between gummy worms and sour gummy worms,
You gotta go
you want
sour.
to pass that over here? I'm gonna have a squish more of it.
Yeah, why don't you give it back to Rick?
Just a squish.
And now the Department of Defense presents news with Casey.
that's me.
I mean, you can finish off the bottle if you guys want. I don't care.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has declared a ruling on a white hot issue, announcing that hot dogs are indeed sandwiches.
Yeah.
The
What?
octogenarian has made her decision on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on March 21st. I was told not to ask her about any pending cases before the court, but I just had to ask her about one of the most divisive issues facing our country, Stephen Colbert quipped. But he evidently couldn't resist. Is a hot dog a sandwich, he asked the long-serving Judge Ginsburg in a one-on-one interview. You tell me what a sandwich is, and I'll tell you if a hot dog is a sandwich, he tactfully replied. Colbert then describes a sandwich as 2 pieces of bread with almost any type of filling in between, as long as it's not more bread. To which Justice Ginsburg presses, you said 2 pieces of bread. Does that include a roll that's cut open, but still not completely 2 separate pieces of bread? This is why you're in the Supreme Court, Colbert jokes. That gets immediately to the question, does the roll need to be separated into 2 parts? The pair then discuss their finer technicalities of the sub-sandwich and rules that have dubbed it so. So then, a hot dog is also a sandwich, Colbert asks again, to which the wise 85-year-old retorts, on your own definition, yes it is. If a submarine sandwich is a sandwich, then a hot dog is also a sandwich.
You know, it's actually interesting you brought that up because I just a couple days ago came across the sandwich alignment chart, and it's alignment chart for sandwiches.
Where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah. Well, you got 2 axes.
ready over there with his phone.
Yeah, well, because
It had
You
I had to pull it up.
You bring up food
hot
and
dog-
expect Carlos not to have
Hot
some
dog.
hard fact behind
Au
him.
contraire, mon frère.
hot dog is on the chart, not as a pure sandwich though. Because
Carlos,
there's 2 axes on
I
it.
literally have a Supreme Court ruling in my favor.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know though, like the sandwich is on the chart. Like it runs from incredible purist, ingredient purist, where like that's where it must have classic sandwich toppings, meat, cheese, lettuce, condiments, all the way to ingredient rebel, where it can have literally any food product sandwiched together. And the other access is structure, where it has to have the classic bread sandwich shape, 2 pieces of bread, which goes all the way to structure rebel, where it can contain food enveloped in any way by any containing food. So the pure sandwich on this chart, BLT, the true
Wait,
neutral,
how is that the purest sandwich?
because it has meat. It does not have the cheese, but it has like lettuce and it has condiments like mayo. Generally, you put mayo on.
No,
there.
but you just made a exclusion for your purest sandwich.
I don't know, Casey. I didn't make the fucking chart.
I don't know that he made the chart.
I feel like a grilled cheese
True,
would be your purest sandwich.
Oh, but that doesn't have meat.
A true neutral falls under a hot dog, and then radical sandwich anarchy, which is the basically chaotic evil chart, is a Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart is not a sandwich.
Well, that's why it's on the worst end of the scale. It's like, you know, it doesn't really
No.
mean
It doesn't even belong on the scale. A Pop-Tart is not a sandwich. Your scale is
It is.
flawed.
It
It
has
is
something-
a food
it is-
enveloped in another food. So by the scale, it is.
Jelly?
Is that your retort, jelly?
Allow me to rebut. Jelly.
gonna go with no on the
That's-
Pop-Tart being a sandwich. I'm gonna go with no.
That's why that's on the evil part of the chart. It's like
What
it's
we're
not
learning
actually
today
sandwich.
is that sandwiches are very subjective.
Well, no. So I'm not gonna lie. The thing that pisses me off more than anything is the concept of an open-faced sandwich. No, you just decided to stack shit on top of bread. That's not a fucking open-faced sandwich.
So definitionally, I feel like
Now, however, what if it was
When
like you
you-
folded it then?
when you sandwich
You can't
something,
fold an open-faced sandwich.
But
I
what if you
feel
did?
no, because then it's not an open-faced sandwich anymore.
then it becomes a sandwich.
Then it becomes a
Fold a
sandwich.
pizza.
I feel like
Then it's a calzone.
I'm on your side here
It's a pizza
because
sandwich.
when you have an open-faced sandwich, when you sandwich something, it's between two things, and an open-faced sandwich is not between two
No,
things.
yeah, no. It's just shit stacked on top of bread.
Yeah.
shit
At
on
that
a
point,
shingle.
it's closer to a pizza.
It is. It's much closer to a pizza than a sandwich.
Yeah, because then you have bread with toppings. You don't have bread sandwiched
Yep.
around something else.
That's called a
So
Midwest
sandwich
pizza
is a
right there.
verb, right?
Sandwich is not a verb.
can be.
Actually, you can
can-
You
sandwich
can, you
something.
can sandwich someone
To sandwich.
or something.
Yes.
Yeah, you can sandwich something.
Yeah.
You,
but
So can it be
You
sandwiched?
get into that, Pete?
Is the question.
Well-
I'm into sandwiches.
You do a lot of sandwiches.
Yeah.
he does a lot of sandwiching
might-
in his
I might be
personal time.
Now I know for sure.
He's pretty open when it comes to sandwiches.
It's tough to sandwich
I
with
can
yourself.
tell you that I know for sure sandwiching is a verb.
What?
I just want to note that Matt is not the vape king.
Okay, can I give you a diagnosis of what I've done here?
No.
No, because
No.
Change anything on there, right?
I did.
What did you change in the battery cell?
So, Pete's been
nobody
going at
knows what that-
95.9%.
Why would you do that?
What?
That's what Pete's doing.
No,
What
he
you-
doesn't know what he's talking about.
I
Do
meant
not just
50
believe
right
anything
there.
that comes out of his mouth until I talk to you about this. Go
right.
on, man.
What's the number at right now?
He looks so angry
50.
on Pete Cam.
And what was that when you gave it to me?
55.9.
Show
There was
him
a
the vape,
95.
Pete.
No, it wasn't.
It guarantee it was a 95.
Well, he used it before me, so maybe he accidentally bumped it up.
No, I put it down to. I put it down to 20%, and I was still hacking my lungs
It's not
up when
percent,
I did that.
it's watts. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Bro.
I put it at 20. I put
Bro.
it at 20 watts, and I was still.
Bro.
Doing it.
If I-
it was
if-
at 9.5
all right, I'm going to
watts.
30, and then I'm going to 40. and
Matt,
then I'm
I'm
going
just
to
telling you,
50.
if I smoked it at 95, I would be hacking and my throat would be burning.
All right, let's see it.
Suddenly we're arguing.
Why would I
about-
wanna do that?
About vaping.
Why would I want to do that?
Now, would Pete's lungs be
so
a sandwich?
sandwiches.
Pete's lungs. Well, no, because it's not food product.
You won't put that flavoring. like if
lungs
if
are
it's thick enough-
subjective. All right.
Well, I mean, so you put tobacco between two lungs.
It's
Is that
flavored
a
to-
sandwich?
But
It's
is tobacco a food
It's
product?
tobacco flavored to the point of almost being jelly.
Can you do the beginning news story thing again, or like a banjo quick?
There are 425 highway signs in Virginia that proudly proclaim speed limit enforced by aircraft, and they're all lying. State police spokeswoman Corinne Geller says her department hasn't airily enforced the speed limit for more than 5 years. I bet she's related to Ross Geller.
Eerily.
You say she proudly declared that?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard proudly declared. Like,
think
we haven't done this in years.
No, the budget actually went to buying a tank instead. What did she say?
Geller says enforcing speed limits from the sky takes a lot of resources. She says the Cessna planes used by the program cost $150
Cessna.
per hour. That's what I said, Cessna.
Okay,
No, you said Cessna. It's Cessna.
it's Cessna.
I know, but I decided to
You
say
go ahead.
Cessna, and then I reinforced it by saying that again, and then you agreed with me.
Yeah, go ahead and reinforce your incorrectness. Go ahead.
Yeah, Casey.
Didn't Carlos say like caveat the other day? Or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, everyone on this show says things wrong, but when I do it, I get shit. So I'm not gonna let it go.
Fuck you, Rick. I always get shit for
right,
everything
all
I
right.
do.
Yeah, you do too, but he doesn't. He thinks he shouldn't. So we're getting after him.
That's because I'm the host.
We're getting somewhere here.
This is just therapy hour now. All right. The Cessna planes used by the program cost $150 per hour
right,
to
huh?
operate, in addition to pilots, training, computer software, troopers, and cars on the ground. Geller tells the Bristol Herald Courier The signs are legally required to stay up because the program is still on the books and could be reinstated if funding becomes available. But they're not, so just speed on those roads, guys.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement for people in Virginia.
They do that in Canada, because when I went to Niagara Falls, they had those signs up, but they were legit because I saw like 8,000 planes. I don't even think they use ground troopers. Like,
Well, yeah, but if things are cost, like, you can't give somebody a speeding ticket by airplane.
yeah, I'm not sure how it works. Well, actually, you can, because if they can get your license plate, then they just mail it to you.
In some states,
I
that's
thought they
unconstitutional.
found that to be unconstitutional.
that's-
Depends on the state.
I'm also talking about Canada.
That's true.
Where that's
they don't
different.
have a constitution, they have a queen in England.
But sometimes they speak a different language.
Then you're just not allowed to come into Canada until you pay it, which would suck because I like Canada.
It really doesn't affect me at all.
It affects me. I like Canada.
I mean, I don't hate Canada. I just have never been there.
Really?
It's like America's hat.
I like Canada.
I've never had a reason to go.
It's just pretty cool. That's my reason.
Who's popping?
Yeah, someone's crackling.
Was it Matt's sunglasses case?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I
that
don't know.
was
That was
doing
weird.
it.
I don't know.
Sounded like
Anomaly.
an electronic crackle.
I don't know.
Anyway, anomaly. Gambian voters will go to the polls in April and May this year to elect local levels of officials. The councillors and mayoral vote will be held for two main municipalities, Canfinning and the capital, Banjul. It turns out that this will be the last time the West African country employs its unique voting method of using marbles.
Marbles.
Yes, the Elections Commission chief, Aliou Momar, said Gambia will switch to the use of ballot paper as per international standards after the polls. He was quoted by a news website, the Fatoon Network, as saying, aside towing international practice, cost-wise, the ballot papers were better than the marbles. This is the second time he has spoken about the move. In April 2017, Najai described the marble system as a huge logistical nightmare, but said it will be kicked out in due course. It was subsequently used in legislative polls. Elections come and go, but Gambia remains. There are rules governing the campaign, and all aspiring candidates have the rules. An estimated 900,000 voters are expected to cast their ballots at 1,400 polling stations across the country. Gambia adopted the unique system in the 1960s as a solution to eliminate spoilt ballots and allow for easy participation of illiterates in the electoral process. Voters are each handed a glass marble by election of officers after verification of their identity. The voter then retreats into an enclosed space where they are faced with the drums of voters.
Wait a minute. The drums.
Basically big buckets with
People are playing drums.
I pictured people beating on drums too.
Oh man, marble lasts too. Like why are they?
so
switching to paper
basically
here?
like the marble thing is because a large portion of the country might be illiterate in Gambia. They're given a glass marble, and then they walk into this room that just has like pictures of candidates over buckets.
Oh, God.
And they just drop their marble into whichever one they like.
So they're just looking at who looks the nicest.
Well, I'm sure they've seen him before going to the booth.
their campaigns and
There's
stuff
propaganda.
like that. But
Right, yeah, I'm sure all their TVs in the illiterate villages are showing them exactly who they're voting for.
Well, there's like flyers and people draw and stuff. You know?
Yeah, all the words on the flyers are really telling them what's going on.
You could put a picture on a flyer.
hey,
and
man,
like, Jesus
laugh
Christ.
all you want. You've never heard of a hanging marble. Like, a marble is definite. That's right. That's a 2004 election joke for all you young folks out there.
Or a write-in marble.
You just have a Sharpie and your own
you brought
bucket.
your own fucking marble. No.
You can't, no. So you can't bring your own marble, but you can bring your own bucket. Just get there early, set up your own bucket.
Just 100 extra buckets with Polaroids over them. It's me. I want to be the guy. I don't know how to read, but I want to be the guy.
Yeah, I really like this bucket system with marbles.
Aside from their whole voting system, like before their previous president, like things were pretty fucked up with him in charge. So like this is
Wait, what do you know about Gambian
He
politics?
said setting his phone down after he just looked
No.
it up.
I was just double checking that this was the same country. Like that I had remember this article right.
He just
'cause,
researched it now as we were talking.
I read this art because I had seen the same pop up. Like, why would somebody use marbles to vote? Instead of going on to the article, instead of going on to detail on like the voting system, they went to detail on like how fucked up it was. So
About the voting system, or
about
the
like
country?
about like how things were going in the country and how the president they had like eventually contested the whole marble voting that was kicking him out of office. He was not a fan of that. So yeah.
Oh, he wasn't happy with the system that made him not the president anymore?
He was not. At
Yeah.
first, he was fine with it, and then he changed his mind.
Oh, was he fine with it when it did vote him
And
into
then,
office?
and then he left the country with
I'm
a shit ton of
sensing
money.
a trend.
So there's a quote here. These drums are not just expensive to make, but you have to paint them with party colors. And where you have independent candidates, you have to give each a color. It sounds like they're just opposed to arts and crafts.
Because it doesn't sound that expensive. It sounds like you could reuse them.
I just keep thinking about drums.
Like it sounds like you
playing
have
the
to. Well,
The ones who gets the most beats wins.
What if you
for us, it's a bucket. So when you narrow it down, it's a bucket, and it seems like you have to buy the bucket once. Like I'm pretty sure you have to buy
once
it once
for each polling place? That's 1,400 polling places.
But you already have them, so now you're done buying them once, and now you're repainting them with spray paint.
So you're giving your marble. What if you had actually dropped it
Carlos,
underneath something
don't give
really
your
heavy?
marble to just any woman.
No.
Couldn't
I'm
you
saying
just
no.
take
What if
marbles out?
What if
of,
it rolled
out of the
underneath
drum?
something really heavy and you couldn't drop it in one of the buckets? Like, what do you do then? Like, do you get another marble?
What? A marble that's too heavy?
No, you dropped it and it rolled underneath something really heavy. God, Rick, you gotta be
Well,
in the
then you don't
conversation.
get to vote
Carlos,
anymore.
they don't put those things in the room with the drums.
I'm just
Well, that would be the best case
concerned
scenario,
that-
but I don't know.
Yeah, but you don't get to vote anymore. You're irresponsible and you
concerned
dropped
that the
your marble.
marbles will come out of the drum somehow, because I could probably reach my hand into the drum and take some of the marbles and put them into other drums.
Well, that would be cheating.
but I'm in it.
Well,
I'm in
and we know for a fact that
closed-off
people don't do
area.
that.
Yeah, no, wait, this is all on the honor
We
system?
don't know that.
We know that people don't cheat in elections. Come on.
Not in Gambia.
Not anywhere. People are honorable. Don't do that.
You know, I just want to, like...
I'd be the first one taking marbles from drums.
Well, you bring your own sack of marbles.
Probably bring my own fucking drums too. Whatever.
They have these really cool boards that they counted the marbles on. Well, they just, kept, it looked like a Mancala boards. They were just,
I don't know.
Playing a
It sounds-
game
You know
with
that
them.
they
This
know that
one goes
they're
here,
not
this one
counting.
goes here.
They're not counting. They're actually just playing Mancala.
Mancala's a great game.
That's what their accent is.
They got distracted playing Mancala and forgot to count, and they were like, I don't know, he wins. They forgot.
So, a prominent Orthodox rabbi in Israel said that meat from genetically cloned pig would be kosher for consumption by Jews, including when eaten with dairy products.
Wait, like cloned or grown? Lab grown.
Cloned.
Or, so it's a clone creature that's fine?
Still a pig.
Rabbi Yuval Cherlow
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
said in an interview published on Wednesday that cloned meat is not subject to the rules that apply to the consumption of regular meat.
So if you clone
It
a
sounds like
human,
Homeboy just wants to eat some bacon. And
so
wants
according to
people
these
get on
rules,
it.
though, if you clone a human, it's legit to eat that human then.
Maybe not that far.
Cut right to the meat of the issue here.
You
Carlos.
made it weird.
I think that this guy just really wants some bacon, and he's like, "Let's get it done."
He's like, I mean, if we can have long pig too, let's go for that.
But you
I
said,
mean, if it was lab grown, that'd be completely different.
you said with dairy though, so like cheese, or you could do like milk dogs.
Yeah.
Maybe
Whoa,
the clone one
what?
doesn't have a soul.
Milk dogs.
Well, so all right. So for those of you who don't
Can't
know,
clone a soul.
Yeah, milk dogs.
like to be kosher, you can't have milk. So like you can't have like cheese. You can't have a cheeseburger to be kosher, because you can't have dairy and meat on the same meal.
But then you can with those.
can I give one there and one there? I'm like,
As long as they never touch.
Oh, that's cool.
But they're going to touch your
I
stomach.
don't let them touch on my plate anyways.
Yeah, they
Weirds
don't
me
care
out.
once it's inside your mouth.
Once it's inside you, it doesn't matter. But they can't touch on your plate.
Pete's a compartmental eater.
Pete's like, the only time I like a
100%.
cheeseburger is if I have my hamburger over here, my pickles over here, my bun over
Nah,
here,
no
my
pickles.
cheese over here.
What about
Fuck the
eggs
pickles.
and cheese?
Well, no, but they're on the plate, but you don't eat them.
Well, eggs
No,
and
they're
cheese,
not gonna
like,
be on the plate.
Yeah, I'm on the
with
fuck
this
pickle
system,
train,
does
too.
eggs count as a meat?
Bags.
Do you have eggs and cheese?
Oh, eggs.
But it's
Carlos,
not meat.
I'm not that
Okay.
Jewish.
Eggs
I
are
don't
not
know.
meat, dude.
I mean, that's a debate.
I know, but like if milk
Somewhere.
is like if you can't mix milk with stuff, you never know.
Milk and hot dogs.
No, eggs are not meat.
But they're another product.
And Carlos,
Eggs are not
I'm answering
flesh.
your question right now.
Hot dogs in hallways.
No, they're not.
Are omelets kosher?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because eggs are not meat.
this is a very important question that we need to know.
Carlos, this is not a
But does an
vegetarian
omelet-
issue. This is a flesh issue for them.
But like an egg,
Omelets are kosher.
oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Because eggs are an animal product, they're not animal flesh. So it doesn't apply.
I don't know.
Oh, actually, there's somebody here really mad about that
It
exact
doesn't,
issue.
It doesn't matter. That guy's wrong. Because the issue is with the flesh.
Yep.
and milk
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
flesh
because
and
that's an
milk.
animal product.
Yeah.
So you can't put also cannot put eggs on your hamburger.
Well, that is
Can
stupid.
you have a breakfast burger?
Yeah, because that's separate from flesh.
Bro.
Right.
That's
You
a
could mix
hangover
eggs and
burger.
milk, though. And eggs and cheese. That's
Yeah.
fine.
But you can't put that stuff with your meat.
Right.
These are too many rules to keep track of.
Well, it's
See?
pretty
That's
simple.
why Judaism is declining.
Well, but it's also
Because it's
not.
too
It's not a lot of rules. It's actually
Too hard to deal with.
It's actually still pretty
you gotta
simple.
learn another language.
Crap. No, it's
is
actually
so
still pretty
hard.
simple because it's not flesh. If it's not flesh, then it's separate.
Yeah, but you're taking all these delicious things.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying Carlos is.
Oh yeah, no,
Because
we're
it's
fine.
not-
I had asked a question, a legitimate question, and I got an answer.
Can we go?
You're welcome.
Can we go back to the Jew who says that clones are okay to eat?
Yeah, that guy's weird.
Like people clones?
All right, yeah, thank you.
Well, they don't have souls though. You can't clone a soul.
That's true.
That's the
Mhm,
thing.
Yep. They didn't come out of a
Cloned
vagina.
meat produced from a pig shall not be defined as prohibited for consumption, including with milk. And in the interview, Trillo said, Trillo appears to be talking about meat that is grown artificially in a laboratory from cells of a pig rather than meat produced from a live pig, whose genetic material comes from a cell which the pig was cloned.
Yeah, hasn't
However-
passed a labia.
However,
That's what it is.
the article does not. You don't fucking know. Does not quote from. does not quote him as making the distinction in the interview ahead of Bar Leon University symposium titled "Science in Halacha," featuring a talk by Charlo. He advocated rabbinic approval of cloned meat so that people would not starve, to prevent pollution, and to avoid suffering of animals. I mean, from that point, like, it makes sense.
Yeah, but do cloned animals suddenly not feel pain or suffer then?
Well, if you're talking about laboratory-grown meat, then no.
They have no soul.
Oh, the meat. Oh,
Yeah.
so they're not talking about like actual like
He did
like
not
the
make it.
sheep that was cloned.
Well, he didn't make a distinction.
I know, but you're on our
Yep.
what's going on?
Someone's
Don't worry
coming
about
down.
that. Don't worry about that.
We're not talking about meat that's like from a live animal
Yes.
grown.
Also, we are an hour into the show. We should probably get to the discussion.
Yeah, we can get to the discussion. Are we gonna take a break?
No, we're not going to take a break.
Okay, I don't know why I don't know what's going on.
No,
over
don't
here.
worry about that.
Okay.
All right. So the rabbi said that you guys can eat clone pig.
Go
Fuck
ahead.
yeah.
Enjoy.
All
it.
right.
And clone people, apparently.
Milk dog.
Once you find it in the grocery store, have at it.
All right. So today, for our discussion topic, we are doing something very unique and kind of interesting. Gordon, if you want to come down and join in on this, you're welcome to. Gordon,
come down here.
Gordon, Gordon, come here.
Yep. Yep. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Somebody did. Jesus.
I did not. It's not over here
All
yet.
right. So we are
Smell it?
doing an
Not
off-flavor
over here.
taste test, which is going to be really interesting and kind of fun.
Yeah.
So we went to the Siebel Institute and picked up a sensory training kit. We're going to mix that with a liter of beer. It's going to be an off flavor that's common in beer. And yeah, so we got a couple of people, kind of popping in here. Just kind of hop in pull up a chair, share a mic with somebody. We're gonna do an off flavor of beer kind of testing thing. It's gonna be kind of fun. So. All right, so we're gonna start with the first one here. Where did Rick go?
Rick, I don't know. Went to get a differenter beer. I don't really know. We're popping up on a
Give
case
these-
of Founders Solid Gold.
Yeah, so our
here.
base beer is Founders Solid Gold. Give these 3 beers to Rick, please.
3 beers.
And then give him a pitcher,
Give me a
if you don't
pitcher.
mind.
Somebody pooped.
Yeah, we already
Smells like poop down here.
talked about
we've
that.
already
Yeah,
covered
but
that.
it has just reached me, is what I'm saying. I've smelled the poop.
We had to turn off the HVAC because it makes noise.
And then just take one
Fill
of
the
these
pitchers
down
up.
and pass it around. Hang on. Rick.
No, don't touch it then. Is what you're saying. Don't touch it, Rick.
Yeah, hold on 1 second, Rick. Rick, vial number 1 is
Vial?
going into that one.
Okay, do you want...
so this came with like a booklet and
Yeah,
a bunch of
there's-
cool vials.
There's.
Why am I getting beer
technically,
cans?
these are ampules. I'm just saying,
Ampules.
but
There
that's
you
it.
go.
All right. So
Pass the
Carlos,
beer
take
can
one
around
down,
to
pass it
everybody.
around.
All right.
Except for the 3 that I gave Rick.
Yeah, so I...
Do you want me to get another pitcher ready so we don't have to sit here?
We're gonna do this as soon as we get the first one done. I'm gonna give Rick another one.
Yeah, I'm handling the ampules because apparently I'm the most qualified.
They're made out of glass, man.
Are they? Oh my god.
Yeah, no, they're glass. You have to break
Oh,
them.
they are like legit.
Who else needs
Very
a
nice.
can of beer?
I think we're good.
I think everybody's got
I
a can of
do.
beer here.
Yeah, actually, Gordon and I both do.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
What do you want me to do here?
All right. I would like you to pour the ampule in there, and then the 3 cans of beer.
So the ampule first.
Yep. All right. So this first one that's gonna go around. So basically, this is going to. So each ampule is about
This
triple.
ampule stinks.
Yes, it's triple the amount, or concentration wise, of the contaminant that you would, or the off flavor that you would find in the beer. So this first one is going to be sour and buttery, and
Yeah.
it comes from like lactobacillus contamination in beer.
That shouldn't be sharp. Nothing.
Do we have a bunch of little tiny like sample glasses?
We do. Well, we have
In the
some.
middle of the table.
All right. Yeah, so we can get
this.
those on the table. Perfect.
Are you
Dang.
sure you don't want me to start pouring one too? Number 2
Number 2, numero dos.
and 3 beers. Wow, they are glass.
They. Well, I wasn't lying.
Yeah, they're glass ampules. If you want me to break them, you got it.
I got it.
Oh, you
Make sure you don't
didn't-
put glass
I
shards
just
in it.
shattered it in my hands. So.
Casey's busy doing his best to lie
Just
to
don't put
everyone.
glass shards.
Yeah, you didn't put glass shards in there, did you?
No,
There's
I can't
cameras
really get
everywhere.
anything out of this.
What?
It's coming.
All right, and so the one Matt is working on is DMS, which is cooked corn or vegetables. But we will talk about that one when we get to after we're done with the contamination. And everyone also has a controlled beer,
It smells like vegetables.
so make sure you just don't drink that one immediately because I know it's tempting.
Yeah,
it's
because
beer.
we kind of went with like some good beer here for the control beer, right?
Well, I
With
thought
Founders Solid
about
Gold here.
doing shit beer, but I was like, but then I have to drink it.
Touche. We always keep a case of Budweiser at the brewery because we calibrate our dissolved oxygen machine
Oh.
against cans of.
That's actually a really good idea.
Well, it's always right on the fucking money.
Yeah, they have a stupid amount of money to put on it. Like,
Damn yeah.
Well, so we went with solid gold partially.
Are you done pouring that?
Yeah.
Will you start passing it around?
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to pass the pitcher or pass?
Pass the
Do
pitcher
gla-
or glasses. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
Just make a decision.
another part of it was that, like, we don't drink PBR or something, so
It's a good. Yeah, that's a good.
putting it into something that we would actually drink makes more sense too.
Oh, okay.
point. I like it.
Gracias.
All right, so ampule number 1 is.
Appeal number 1 is
Just
contamination.
Contamination.
Sour and buttery. And the source is usually contamination from lactobacillus.
It was buttery as hell.
Yeah, so these are going to be super buttery. And so the reason we're doing this is we try a lot of beers on this show. And having the ability to actually like detect some of these off flavors, I feel like is going to help a lot.
Smells like butter, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, this
Yeah,
is
it does.
super buttery.
It really does.
Oh, wow.
It's butterscotch flavored beer.
It's like you melted a stick of butter in it.
So another thing that we determined was that the amounts of this is probably about 3 times the normal amount of contamination you'd have in a beer, on average. So it's amped up so that you can really detect it.
But see, the problem I'm running into is as soon as I tasted this, I'm like, I've had so many beers like this before.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I had one like this earlier today.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We
that is
have,
super
Yes,
buttery.
we did.
Yep.
We've sampled beers that have tasted like this before.
Yeah, we have. And I think we gave them okay ratings, too.
No, I did not.
I didn't. but this
We might have.
This is the beer that we were talking about, where you pick up the mouthfeel more than the flavor.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're not always gonna. It's not always gonna be that slick.
Yep.
No, but this is that flavor.
That is, like,
It's
that
the
is...
same one.
I wish
Very
I would have left
interesting.
this job to Rick. This is.
You
Yeah, I don't
decided
know.
you wanted to take
I was,
it.
I was happily willing to do it, but you just took it. So now it's on you.
I was like, I want to do things. All right, so let's go around, starting with Brian. Like, so this off flavor. I mean, tell me about it. Like, what? So you're also you're a brewer. You started as a home brewer. What kind of beers have you encountered this in? Like style wise, or
Usually, they always say canary beers, like stuff that's lighter, like more see through. So like how we're kind of tasting it here. So what? The first one is what again?
this is just straight
Got
up
more?
contamination. Basically lactobacillus contamination.
Got it. Yeah. So this can taste buttery, but is not always identifies itself as that, and will at times be more sour or milk-like. Like think about it, lacto. You know what I mean? And so if you think about like milk going bad, or have you ever like had milk mixed with water? Like think about that, or like like if you make powdered milk or something like
Okay.
that. Like you won't get that what you were talking about earlier, that slickness.
That's more of a diacetyl thing,
correct. So
which
so
is
this'll
coming up.
Exactly, and it's going to be also really bad. But this will identify itself as the same
I
thing.
don't know where to put this.
So
What are we doing with the
The leftover,
extra? Yeah.
dumping it down the drain.
dumping it down the drain.
Yeah, unless you really want to drink
Where
it.
is
I
that?
kind of like that one. I want some more.
You can either run it upstairs, otherwise there's a drain over by the.
Don't dump it down that drain.
Okay, run it
So
upstairs. quick.
so to kind of bring this whole thing home, like what have we been talking
There you
about
go.
this whole time is
Well, no, because we need the picture again.
subjectivity, right? We've been talking about subjectivity this whole time, and each of the beers,
2, 3.
we each gave them a different rating, whatever. Well, if we were to give this particular off flavor a rating, and we all knew the correct language, I mean, like, where would you guys be at with this? Like,
Oh, that's a good question.
you know what I mean? You know, so from a subjectivity standpoint, people are like, oh, well, I get like milk, or I get
And that's
sour, or I
well,
get butter, or blah blah.
And we all have the base beer next to it, so that's a really good thing. So
Good to have the control.
so say the base beer is a 10. Where would you put the infected? Pete?
Probably a 6.
6? Why?
I don't know. It seemed like a 6.
Well,
Was
no,
it
no, well, no, like-
bad? Was it good?
No, like what was it about the
I
sample
don't know.
that you were
Like you guys are kind of like some of you guys are kind of grossed out. Like, oh no, I shouldn't be there. But it's not like that. It's not a bad flavor. It's just a flavor you don't want too much of, obviously. But you know,
Okay.
I
See,
feel like
but
I feel
would,
like
you would tolerate this. You would put up with this, and
yeah, I feel like if it was more concentrated, I'd be able to get a better idea what actually,
Alright.
it's supposed to be.
try
like,
mine.
so.
Like that's really fucking killing me, man. Like this is what I'm talking about here. Like you're gonna taste it different. Everyone's gonna taste it different.
I do get the butter. I get more like a popcorny kind of. I don't know, like butter popcorn, I guess.
Pete, pass your
Something like
mic on real quick, and let's
Yep.
do a quick introduction
Yo.
and say your name.
Well, no,
and
come on, Casey. I know how this works. No, I'm Justin. I'm here with the big fellow over there in the corner.
Hi.
if you listen to Rules of Arena, the first episode, you would have heard Justin's voice.
Yeah, sorry about that. But no, well, these guys a little bit like that work at the Tamarack Tap Room in Woodbury, so beer is no stranger. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be like the redheaded fella here in the corner, but by all means. No, I've no joke tasted that exact flavor in the last month. Great Lakes Dortmunder Gold.
Oh, he's even calling it out.
Oh yeah.
Bring the thunder on it. Like it's that buttered popcorn. We no joke couldn't get a keg right from them, so we don't carry that beer anymore. But no, I think that makes me wonder now. Like we were talking about it there. Is it diacetyl? Is it that lactobacillus? What is it that's causing the problem? Doesn't matter as long as it gets resolved. But I'm kind of with Pete a little bit on it. Like it's not great. It's not good, but it isn't unbearable. If you didn't know it was something wrong, you might be like, oh, it's a choice. So I mean,
Sure.
I'd say probably right around the same, but around 6.
Okay, Carlos.
I would give it a 4 just because whenever I rate beers, like I have like beers that are generally a 6 is something that I will generally say is something that I would like I could still drink every once in a while. Like it's not a flavor I'd like, but it's still drinkable. It's still definitely drinkable. So I gave it a 4.
All right, Gordon. Go ahead and steal Rick's mic.
Yep. Sorry.
Again?
Gordon's here.
That was the new poop.
I'd give it a 3. I mean, I could definitely, if I paid for it, I could finish it, but I wouldn't order that beer again at a bar.
Yeah.
I've definitely tasted it much more concentrated before.
More concentrated than triple? Shit.
Yeah. It definitely where like the buttery popcorn smell and flavor overpowered what the beer should be.
So we keep going back to buttery popcorn. That's more diacetyl, I think.
Yeah, that's the rough part about this one is that
Yeah.
this is what again.
Subjective.
This is
Well,
very
it's subjective, yeah. As fuck,
But so this
no,
one is
one's supposed to
contamination.
be-
This is lactobacillus contamination.
Yeah.
And we're getting to diacetyl in 2 more. So
it smells like butter to me.
Yep.
And
Oh no,
tastes
and
like-
it is.
yeah.
It's sour and buttery.
Yeah.
And that's
what's blowing my mind about this. That's why we do this kind of shit. So.
yeah. Rick.
All right, so this one, I mean, I get like the Ace buttery popcorn, but it also is like skanky milk.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah.
take a little bit of powdered milk and
Yeah.
throw it into water, and then let it sit for
Yeah,
like it's not that deep, rich like butter of
right.
Diacetyl.
It's a little buttered popcorny, but my biggest problem with it is that's the best way I can describe it, like the skanky milk, just like weird, gross, like funky. It's not right. It's too old, but it's not like curdled. It's just in that range where it's like it's definitely expired, but can I get by drinking it?
Yeah.
Like it's at that point, and the answer is always no. But it's like I mean, I live in a house with 2 other bachelors. And so there's always some like questionable stuff in the fridge. And this reminds me of that. Like some questionable milk where I end up deciding to dump it down the drain and like no one else should have this either. And I give it a 2 because it like if I needed to I'd drink it, but that's about it. Like if it was like got back from a week of hiking and forgot that this was in my car at like 50 degrees and it turned out a little weird like this, I'd probably drink some of it, but not all of it. But it's pretty bad.
All right, Matt.
Same thing as everybody else said, Casey.
Okay.
I tried mine like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, I at least saved a little bit.
We got
and had
that
some
second one
thoughts.
circulating.
It's
I
going,
poured mine. I'm waiting on him now.
yeah. Rick, just grab that second picture there and start going
Rick's
around.
in charge.
No,
Yep.
like well.
Anyway.
Also with this one, I've had this in the last month as well because I had it today.
All right, so the next one going around is DMS, which is dimethyl sulfide. But anyway, this one, so lactobacillus is a weird bug to talk about because there are some beers where you intentionally put lactobacillus in it. Most notably, Berliner Weiss. You want some of that lactic acid in there. That lactobacillus fermentation can cause that, but you get a different type of lacto sour from it. It's not quite as not quite so spoiled milk.
Yeah, that the difference being one's more controlled than the other.
Well,
Yeah.
and so that's why I'm always wary of a new brewery that puts out a sour. Is this an intentional sour, or is this an oopsie daisy? Let's sell it as a sour.
Don't ever do that. If you are listening,
It's not gonna work, but you'll try.
Yeah, no, and I've definitely had some of those, like where it's an oopsie daisy, this is a sour now.
so this second one here, this is
Will you hand me a cup and
yeah. Oh, totally. Here, I'll get you set up.
thanks, you
You want
man.
me to pop it down in there?
Yeah, how'd you pop it?
Yes.
We're talking about the ampule.
How'd you pop that up, man?
Girl.
I cracked all mine in my hands.
All right. Yeah, so like I'll give it about a 6 because I've had beers like that and I've dealt with it.
Some Matt's
Oh
getting-
yeah, no, that one's gonna
Matt's
be rough.
over there freaking out about the
That one's cheesy.
Jesus
Hops.
Christ. So the one we're
Put
doing
some of it
is,
on your tongue.
is
Anyway.
the
Put it on your tongue.
Once
is
it's
dirty
mixed with
socks.
beer, it chills out
That
a
is
little.
athlete foots and dirty socks. Oh my god.
I bought like a little bottle of liquid ass one time to put on my
Oh my god.
do tell.
Ass?
no. So there's
Seriously, this is terrible.
on Amazon you can buy liquid ass.
Start
It
pouring beer
smells
in it,
like
man.
Smell that. Smell
it
that.
smells
Guys,
like an
smell that.
old butthole, and I bought it so I could spread it on my roommate's keyboard.
That
in
is
college.
athlete's foot.
Yeah,
Definitely soft.
You're just an asshole, Rick.
yeah, but he deserved it because his name was Dwayne.
Cheese. Of course, his name was Dwayne.
I will call him out.
Goodness gracious.
His name was Dwayne Pete, and Dwayne Pete in Fairbanks, Alaska. If you're listening, I put the poop on your keyboard.
Totally listening. You
I
suck.
did it.
All right. Anyway, let's get back to the
my
matter at
God.
hand. So Brian,
So,
will you please tell me about DMS?
dimethyl sulfide.
I'm glad that you're pouring yourself more.
Well, it's because I have the other stuff on my nose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
that's
bad.
Did someone just ring the doorbell?
yeah, they did.
Oh, that's fine.
I bet he's a giant.
I hope it's a she.
Ask if you want some athlete's foot.
Dude, I can't smell anything but the poop.
All right.
So dimethyl sulfide is another off flavor. So diacetyl is
Well,
the buttery one, and so dimethyl sulfide is
cooked corn and vegetables is
Right.
a descriptor.
so this one is another one that has like a huge freaking range because some people can smell asparagus pea and other people's can't. So as far as dimethyl sulfide goes, like some can perceive it, some can't. And it's in this one, to me, this isn't that
Bring it back this way.
isn't that heavy.
I don't get
but that's me.
I don't get the cooked corn. I get more of a like a sour mushy vegetable thing in the back of my
Mine's more for me. It's more mushy vegetable.
yeah.
So Pete,
Yeah, no, I get it mostly when I breathe out of my nose with it. I don't know.
that guy.
It's something
I arm wrestled that guy.
something
I lost
vegetably.
I arm wrestled.
Vegetably,
vegetably.
yeah. Vegetal. Something very vegetal.
vegetable.
I think he's onto something. I don't really pick a lot of it up. I mean, it's like a light funk, on it.
I don't get it as much of. I mean, take your control beer and
Yeah, no, I've gone back and forth a couple of them now, and it's nothing crazy. Like I actually had to sit there and go, do I actually pick anything up?
I think it
Or am
kind
I
of
convincing myself.
wiped a little bit of the hop crisp bitterness from this particular beer.
Well, and I think that's something
but-
we're going to find with some of these is some of us are very, very perceptible to some and can't pick up anything in others,
Can't pick up a whole lot on this one.
which is why beer is so subjective to
Right.
begin
I'm the
with.
same. I can't pick up like anything on this one.
Carlos?
This is it's not that bad. Like as expecting. Like if I had to like rate it, for example, I'd probably give it like a 6.5 or something like that.
Well, so your base is the 10 here with solid gold.
Well, I mean, yeah. If this is the 10,
That's the 10.
then I'd give it like a 6.5. It's not. It's not
Beer's
that.
really good though.
It's not that bad.
It's a very good beer. This is the first time I've had it, and I'm super impressed with this beer.
Like, I
Founder's
could-
solid gold.
I could drink something with a soft flavor.
That is just.
I probably.
Where's Matt Cam?
Yeah, right. That is really bad.
We got fucking Pete Cam.
I got this.
It's been like the wall cam for the past.
Oh, you already have one?
No, I
Yeah,
need
no,
beers,
I know.
but somebody can empty
Let's-
out that
let's-
pitcher over there.
Right
Slow
in that
down
crevice
on-
of beer
Let's
cans.
slow down on piling these up.
Dump this one.
Well, no, we might as well.
Like a little bit.
We're going on the second
We only
one
have
so
6
far.
total.
Well, I know, but
I know,
me
but
smelling
anyway.
this is effective.
Carlos, will you run that up and dump that? Thank you.
Shit.
All right, Gordon.
You know, if you gave me 2 samples and didn't tell me one had the whatever the hell in it, I wouldn't have.
DMS?
Yeah, that's what I said. I barely noticed anything.
Okay.
So I mean, I'd be none the wiser at a bar, at
All
least
right.
with this. And maybe I'm not a big lager fan.
Yeah.
You know, like a light.
Well,
lager
and so
this,
the source for this one, it can kind of pop up anywhere. So sources so I have this little sensory training kit thing, and it says it can come up in the wort boil, the wort cooling, or as a contaminant. Mostly, I've seen it when I've detected it in my beers. It shows up anytime I'm using a lot of Pilsner wort, and I don't boil long enough. But
Yep. Yeah, it's not as prevalent anymore now because of how highly modified malt is, or how the preparation is just so much so that like with underboiling, you're not going to worry about that precursor kind of popping up.
yeah, but if you ever end up with a beer that tastes like cream corn, this is why. And every home brewer has. And if you haven't, you can't taste DMS, and you did.
Yeah,
You
and
done fucked
just
up.
Err on the side of boiling
90-minute
90
boil.
minute
If
on-
you're kind of worried about it,
in a
90-minute boil.
Pilsner malt, especially with like a floor malted.
Yeah. All right, Rick.
So, it seems like the trend is like didn't pick it up a whole lot. I am opposite of that. This tastes like I boiled carrots in water and drank that water.
See,
Like this is incredibly different from the control beer. Like I taste carrots. Boiled carrots, but like if you boiled carrots until they were just like a carrot paste almost, like to the point where you touch them with a fork and they just fall apart. Like too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Like a mushy vegetable.
And
Rick
so
doesn't like baby food.
no.
No. Does
And
anybody
that's-
like baby food?
But that's what's interesting
Unless
about
it's
this. Is
pudding.
like everyone's like, this doesn't taste a lot different. And I'm like, I taste carrots. I taste like carrots and no beer. It tastes like water with carrots in it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's interesting to me. But that's beer for you. That's what I pick up with it. DMS to me is carrots. So
So there.
that's
I'm
all
on the
that-
side where I don't taste anything with this one,
Just start
so
passing the next one
that's me.
Oh, you just don't taste a whole lot in this one? Okay. All right, so the next one going around, starting with Rick, is diacetyl or diacetyl. I don't know how to say it.
Whatever.
It
It's
goes back and
diacetyl.
forth.
Potato.
This is definitely the flavor that you are
Well,
always talking about on
This,
our shows.
yeah. So this
Yeah.
is butter and butterscotch. This is, in my opinion, one of the most common off flavors that you'll pick up in craft beers. It's like it just is like it comes from so many different things. It comes from improper maturation or microbial contamination. most commonly, like, just you done fucked up with your fermentation.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Pete, if you just want to pour 2 of those, that would be awesome. And I know some of
Fun
this
fact
is...
with
go ahead.
like diacetyl, like there's a big thing. They use diacetyl a lot in the flavoring of buttered popcorn. And factory workers in places where they make buttered popcorn have gotten popcorn lung from diacetyl.
Oh, and not
It's a
to...
chemical that causes popcorn lung, which is an irreversible lung disease that kills you.
So you're saying don't breathe the
Oh,
sun?
also, fun fact, for the vapors out there,
Yeah.
if they use diacetyl in your vape flavoring, you can get popcorn lung.
Yep. So a lot of Chinese flavorings. Well, it's actually why I stopped vaping.
Sitting to the right of the vape king.
But I
What are you guys
used
talking about?
I used to do that quite a bit. But popcorn lung is a thing that can it doesn't happen all the time, but
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
vaporizer juices can use diacetyl as well, which is
yeah, some water
a little
there.
dangerous. Drinking diacetyl doesn't hurt you at all. There's a full one in the middle of the table. But it tastes like
That's
terrible
okay, I just told you.
garbage.
Don't inhale that shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you can smell it for the aroma. That's not.
So,
doing
Brian,
the
talk
same.
about diacetyl.
There's a silly amount of ways that you can pick it up when you're making beer.
Yeah. It's a lot of different ways you can.
Hot side,
Get it.
cold side.
So, is there an aroma like that you can pick up with diacetyl, or
Depends on how it's produced. And then again, like, remember how we were kind of looking at lacto, some of the same characteristics in the lacto, like your pedio and your lacto. Like anytime you're racking anything from one thing to another, it can pick up bacteria and it can cause that. Pediococcus lactobacillus. And there, what is it? I'd have to look it up, and I'm going to sound like an idiot, but it's pedio that doesn't work without lacto or something along those lines. And so there's just a whole bunch of different ways you can pick this up.
but some beers, diacetyl isn't necessarily an off flavor.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So English beers, I can't remember exactly which ones. I was in the middle of Googling that one because I just plain don't remember.
We've come across
Yep,
in Homebrew Bound.
Yep. I know English barley wines.
Yeah.
Some of the bitter styles, diacetyl isn't necessarily an off flavor. More like the bigger, like English beers.
Right. We've come across that in Homebrew Bound where we'll be reading through the BJCP guidelines and it'll say diacetyl medium, low to none or something like that, where it's acceptable to have some.
It's because these styles have been around for so long that whatever the brewing technique, it was like,
Right.
well, it's going to happen. So
Yep.
Right.
And so mostly
You know,
we've
oh, wow.
used
So
that
if
as a
some of it's
crutch
there.
to be like, we would have missed the style with all this diacetyl, but it's allowed.
Well, we haven't had a ton of diacetyl in our beers.
Oh, we have.
We haven't had a ton of it.
We have.
there's a few things
In
that,
a lot of them?
Well, there's a few things in home brewing, like an
don't think we've had a lot of
acetolactate that could convert to like a diacetyl situation. If again, it's another infection thing too that can start tasting. You know, like what was the lactic one that we were tasting in the first one?
The contamination, the sour buttery.
It's better than this.
All right, Pete.
Definitely buttery.
Yeah.
That is it.
Are you getting any of the butterscotch?
Not really, no.
All right,
Not
moving
really.
on.
No.
Yeah, this is wow. Way stronger than lactobacillus.
Have you had any beers lately? I mean, like you deal with a lot of beers on a regular
Yeah,
basis.
a lot of rotation we get. You know.
Have you seen this in any commercial examples? I'm not asking you to name any.
I mean,
But-
I kind of threw one under the bus earlier.
Yeah.
But I mean,
We're okay with that.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, it's not been super prevalent. most of the issues I've seen less with where I'm at just because of the care they take with it, with what the product they're carrying. You know, if you're, you know, like we have some of the like the big Avery Demons of Ale stuff on now, you know, really high end rare shenanigans. They're not taking their chances as far as lines and stuff like that. But I've been to a number of places around the Twin Cities that are, you know, hosting anywhere from, you know, 20 upward, you know, tap lines, and it's really prevalent. I think not just because of what the beer or the brewer themselves is doing, but a lot of times with their cleaning.
Actually, that brings up a really good question. Brian, maybe you know the answer to this. Are any of the things that we've tasted so far something that could be picked up in the lines besides the beer?
Yeah. Yeah, any of them, really. I mean, it depends on what types of bacteria are in... You know, I mean, there are a lot of breweries that don't know they have an infection, and they do.
Okay.
And they can't perceive it necessarily.
But this is something like, so if, like, you know, Joe Schmo Bar had an infection in their lines, would that would that be picked up in the beer passing through it, like from the brewery?
Potentially, yeah. So it depends on how quickly the beer is rotated through the line, but I've definitely, over the multitude of years that I've had my own beer out in the wild, you go to places and it doesn't taste the same as it does through your lines. So there's a number of different flavors that'll get thrown into the beer. So
any of these
more
can
or
also
less
be picked up in the line. So
yes.
if you have a bad beer from the brewery,
yes.
don't write them off immediately. Try it at a different place, and then if that also sucks, then you can write them off.
Beer lines can be tricky. I mean, we've had, every single one of my beers, because I taste them so frequently, if I taste them somewhere else, I can definitely taste the line. Just kind of depends.
Yeah. All right, Carlos, diacetyl. Sorry.
Oh, it was not great. I'm gonna say was not great at all. I would not want to drink a beer that was anywhere near that strong.
Yeah.
Like if I had to give it a rating out of 10, for example, I'd probably give it like a 2.5. In the fact that you can drink it, but you don't want to.
Okay. Gordo?
I wouldn't even be able to drink it. I took a sip off of it, and I imagine that's what the inside of my gym bag tastes like. That was god awful. I give it a 0.5.
All right.
Wait till you try this next one. That smells like a gym bag.
All right, Matt, why don't you talk while Rick is trying to seat himself?
I have definitely tasted beers like that before, and it's bad.
Recently?
I wouldn't say recently, but I remember that taste in the past, and like it was something you didn't really think of until now that we've described it.
And have you ever put one of those on tap?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm not looking for the expose. I'm just honestly curious. Like we have a lot of different perspectives here. Like you are from a small town bar.
Yeah, we definitely clean our taps very regularly.
Yeah. And we have a brewer, and we have somebody from a multi-tap bar in the cities. Like that's a lot of unique perspectives on beers here. So all right. So the next one going around is not pleasant, apparently. It's isovaleric acid, or it's a cheesy old hops or sweaty sock smell. If you're looking for that in there, it's 18 is the number. The source of this is usually like old degraded hops, so like cheesy hops. So the hops that you would use for traditional lambic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to taste like this unless it's supposed to taste like this.
Exactly. All right. So, Brian, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, this is bad, man.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's why I freaked out when I poured this.
Pretty much said it all. I got some of it stuck on my damn nose.
Well, that's why I slowed down the pours, because we were over here like smelling that whole time.
And then I poured this next papery one, and it smells quite great.
Paper.
Comparatively,
that tastes like gym socks.
It tastes like what it smells like. Shitty.
I'm happy I didn't pour myself any.
So honestly, I guess
you can have some of this.
I guess where I sit with this particular one is that you definitely aren't going to probably pick this one up at all.
You done fucked up if this happened.
Well, yeah, and honestly, you can look out there and people are selling hops from 2013 for $1 a pound, Cascade. Most of the time when you use them for just bittering units, if you throw them at the in the early part of the boil, okay, yeah, like that'll make up the bulk of your bittering and it won't contribute to the flavor part of it, but if you're a real big idiot and you should decide to use these for excuse me, closer to the end of the boiler for like a dry hopping situation, yeah. So is this something that you're gonna encounter frequently? No, but if you do, they definitely damn well don't know what they're doing.
If you guys want to try any of these, you guys are welcome to. I mean, they're terrible, but
They're terrible. Yeah. You would really have to be a super taster, or if you're going to taste this, or you'd have to be a super idiot if you're going to use these for anything other than what styles that call for an aged hop.
traditional lambics where all of your alpha acids are gone and you just want the preservative quality.
Sometimes that's desirable, and like all of these we've tasted, it's like sometimes they're I'll take that back. The lactobacilli buttery one, that's an actual infection. That's not fucking good. But like the rest, you'll find them.
Yep. Well, yeah, I think the next two you will find as well, except for the last one. I think is going to be a straight up one where you don't want. But anyway, Pete, what do you think about the gym socks?
It's shitty.
What do you think about gym socks?
That was quick.
Vape King is no go.
What if they made that like a vape flavor? He's hemming and hawing like he's actually gonna go for it. I tried to vape whiskey once. Don't do that.
Flavor of that.
I've 100% tasted that before, and not because I had a beer that came that way. I played rugby with Gordon in college, and we have a thing called shoot the boot, where you drink beer out of someone's worn, sweaty rugby cleat, and that is exactly what that tastes like.
Fair enough.
10 out of 10 will not drink again until next season.
All right, I would have to say it's not as bad as I was expecting.
What?
Fucking high. Don't answer that.
I know, like it's just like maybe I just didn't get as much flavoring as everybody else did, but like it just.
This is brutal,
Did
man.
he get the right one?
He's got the right one. He might still be drinking diacetyl.
He's over here like, it tastes like butter. I don't know what you guys are getting.
No, it doesn't taste like butter. That's for sure. It does. It definitely does not taste like butter. It tastes more bitter than the previous one, I guess. Like, well, maybe not bitter is not the right word. It's definitely not as clean tasting as
don't smell the vials.
Founders normally does.
It's coming
But
out here. I did get a
I don't know. I'd have to give this one a 4 if I had it rated on a scale.
No, it's
Sweaty armpits.
it's hydrogen sulfide
So, yeah.
or dihydrogen sulfide. Gordon,
That was god awful. I mean, it's like the taste in your mouth when you walked in my old high school gym locker room. Just again, give it a 0.5.
yeah, but doesn't it feel nice now that you can put a name to it?
Yes.
It's isovaleric acid.
There's so many jokes about the taste that Gordon got in his high school locker room. I don't know.
God damn it.
Well, I guess this is definitely deviled eggs right now.
Yep.
All right.
That was a
There you go.
crackle fest. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Crackle
This
fast.
mic's a little bit loose.
Welcome to Crackle Fest.
So I actually agree a little bit with Carlos. Like the flavor, not as bad as the smell.
The aroma is way worse, I would think.
The aroma was awful, and the flavor was like it tastes off, but I couldn't put it in like the worst. Like
flavor wise, it's very similar to
I don't
the
want
first
you to
one.
waft that at me.
Contamination wise.
I know what it is. I'm
Don't
smelling it.
waft
I'm
that
trying
at
to
me.
ignore it, and I'm trying to talk about
Yeah,
this.
rotten
one.
eggs is literally
are both
being
those both of
terrible.
those
Yeah, it's
done?
terrible.
Yeah, and then you go dump them.
Yeah. So, honestly, it's still not to me as bad as the other one I had. Like,
Which other one? We've had
the
4.
DMS.
Okay.
The DMS so far has still been the worst to me. That one smelled the worst for sure. Absolutely, that was disgusting. But the flavor wasn't the worst.
Matt, and
that I've had.
you did not pour yourself a sample of the F-18.
I did not.
Okay. All right, so the next one going around is papery or trans 2 non-enol. Basically, we're looking for cardboard and oxidation.
I like the
or
smell of
oxidation.
this one.
So you're gonna find this pretty commonly in aged barley wines, aged stout, anything that you've aged for a while in a bottle.
The current one.
You're gonna get that cardboard papery flavor, and so it's not always an off flavor unless it's a fresh beer. Then you
Right.
don't want this. So yeah, this comes from basically if they added too much oxygen to the beer,
Yeah.
or if it's just a stale beer.
In your solid gold premium lager, it shouldn't be there.
Well, yeah, and again, this is on the extreme end here. I hope for everyone.
Oh wow, that tastes like eating paper.
Right. It tastes. It tastes like how it should. Like it tastes like how it should smell in a sense, almost. But this is another one that it's not gonna happen unless it's on the hot side. So someone's got to really be fucking some shit up to make it be like this. And then this is another piece where we could get into that argument about should we put beer into cans or should we put them into bottles. So we drank a beer that was in a wax top bottle this evening. Well, if it was in a can like this, it would age better.
Yep.
You wouldn't have air seeping into it and that. But long story short, this is a very extreme example.
Ridiculous extreme. I don't think I've ever had anything this papery.
Yeah, so, and then this one also has a range. So this, as it's listed, trans 2 non-enol or non-enol, however you want to put it.
I don't know.
This can start to verse over into almost sherry-like, and there's a big big range of how this one can work too. And this is the papery, cardboardy version. Like literally, this is like chewing on a piece of paper. But that said, yeah, there's a whole host of different ways to avoid this. Not which of least is using proper racking technique and the.
So don't just take your bucket of beer and dump it into another bucket of beer.
The other
and do that 2 more times.
The other infection one we had is another one where it's like, yeah, you're using a crappy chugger pump to rack commercial beer. Well, you're gonna get oxidation, and it's gonna happen quick. And especially when you're using like a mid. I don't know. We weren't talking about this earlier, but those mid-level caramel malts will tend to oxidize more quickly. Like if you're using a lot of C60 stuff like that. There are ingredients when you're making beer and different processes and that you can shore up. To like racking any kind of barrel, anything from point A to point B, or racking beer from point A to point B. All of that.
Pete?
Well, this one is pretty shitty too, but yeah, chewing on paper, like that's immediately what I thought. So it's pretty much.
Justin?
Yeah, this isn't sweaty socks anymore, thankfully.
Right? It's just a notebook.
I'm getting the smell of the next one from across the table now, and I'm not excited about that one either. No, this I've had this in a couple beers. It makes me think of like the super light, like dirt cheap, $8 for a 30 rack beers that have been sitting there forever.
They have a coat of dust on them and
like skunked.
God, what was I think it's called beer 30, I believe is what's coming to mind.
Yep.
But see, this
that one.
This isn't skunked though.
Yeah, no.
Skunked is a very different
If
character.
your beer comes from a can, it's not going to be skunked.
It's going to be stale.
It's going to be stale.
But
And this is stale.
Skunking doesn't happen unless there's it's a blue light spectrum needs to go through the isomerized hops. So if your beer is in like a clear or a green bottle, that's why beer's in brown bottle, because that specifically blue light spectrum from the sun or whatever it'll skip through the bottle, whether it's clear or green. It'll hit that isomerization of the volatiles and skunk it. That's how the only way that happens. So if you have a keg of beer that's like Heineken and you're like, it's skunky, it's not. That's not what you're tasting something else.
It's probably just this.
Yeah. those
probably just old.
boys from the DOO podcast don't come by and spiked your beer.
Can
we showed up and we got science.
Son
Where
of a bitch.
did you get that? And I'm screwing with all of my customers for like the next week.
Oh, this? The Siebel Institute of Technology. And
Like I have a couple regulars that need a learning.
I won't go there for the next week then.
I said regulars.
I'm not a regular.
But no, it's not the worst thing I've ever tasted. I mean, it's not spectacular, but it's not.
But it's
okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna kill you.
Yep. Well, and what we're tasting it at 3 times what you would normally taste it at. So,
which it sucks because how many of them were you guys were like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's 3 times what it should be, and you're like, well,
it's just to do some learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one stands way out for me. This one's terrible.
This is why I drink whiskey.
Carlos,
like it's like I don't like our listeners out there. Like it really does taste like paper. Like I would say construction paper, just because like that might just be.
gosh, like I'm a paper kasana.
Which color?
I mean, granted, that just might be.
I know paper. This is red.
That might be just because. That's
Get
what I
that red
thought
dye
too.
number 4 in there.
Like it might be because like the damage I've done to my taste buds throughout the night now. But yeah, like it's basically paper, construction paper.
All right, Gordon.
I don't know, it reminds me of a certain macro brewery that comes in a blue can with white lettering on it. I know they're all Sue happy.
So that's all
Shut
of
your
them.
mouth!
Yeah. Not to call them out for having shitty beer, but it tastes like college.
All right, Rick.
Honestly, we made a mistake. Like, we made a mistake pouring the next one.
Oh.
Before this.
Oh no, none of us have had that problem.
Well, no. This is what they're smelling.
I know.
Yeah, we're right here. So
We belittling their issues.
we definitely because I can't tell you what this tasted or smelled like because I'm smelling that.
All right,
So we made a mistake doing that.
Matt, have you tried
so-
any of these?
Tasted like paper.
Did you try the papery one?
It tastes like paper.
boy.
Well, I feel like I don't know if you tasted the papery one now.
You tasted it. Tastes like paper.
I
Doesn't it?
can't.
Yeah, it does taste like paper.
Didn't.
All right.
Tasted
So you guys
And
pass that
I'm
one
not
around.
trying
Hang on,
this next one.
give Matt
No,
the
I'm not
first
doing
pour
it.
of that one. Matt, you have to
Why?
because we've decided that we're starting with you.
We're suffering as a group to come together.
Give it a little sample.
A little sample ski.
It
And we need to give Brian a break from being the first one
It
every
smells
time.
like deviled eggs that have been sitting around for a while.
Yeah.
See, now
and
we're
I'm
getting
afraid
somewhere.
to even taste this.
Yeah, so this one is
God damn.
dihydrogen sulfide, which
Yeah.
rotten eggs. The source of this
Awesome.
is fermentation, maturation,
Yep, I'm not
contamination.
drinking that anymore.
So no, you didn't like that one?
No,
Have you had any
man.
beers that have tasted like that?
I don't know. I didn't get a good enough taste of it.
Grab me one of those.
Smells like
little
Easter at
tiny
the old
cups
folks'
up
home.
there. Rick?
Jesus.
hang
Yeah,
on.
it does smell like you just dyed a bunch of eggs.
It smells like toots.
You really didn't smell that? It's been
All right,
sitting here this
all
whole
right,
time?
dickhead. That's what we've been smelling for the last half hour, and you've been making fun of us.
No.
Yeah.
So shut up, because it's
They're
disgusting.
complaining a lot.
No.
It's not that bad.
The ampule was only just opened. It was not opened 30 minutes ago.
It feels like it.
God damn it. I can't even drink this.
I'm not looking
It
forward.
tastes like disgusting. Okay, so first of all, I don't like hard-boiled eggs. I hate them. They are disgusting. They're nasty. And this tastes like that.
I
They're
like hard-boiled
disgusting.
eggs, and this doesn't taste like hard-boiled eggs.
I don't even like hard-boiled eggs. This tastes like Florida smells all the time.
It's not so much the flavor. It's like when you go to so much of this beer tasting thing has to do with olfactory, and if I bring this to here before I even get it to my lips, and I got farted.
It's Florida.
I can't even fucking do it.
Orlando. It's what Orlando smells like 24/7.
He's not wrong.
It's awful.
No, he's not.
Have you?
I've been to Florida. I've been to Orlando, and
He
this is
been
what
there.
it smells like. It's just nasty, and I don't know why, but it smells like that.
All right, Gordon.
It's terrible.
Hello, Orlando.
I smell it. I can't drink it.
you gotta drink it. You gotta drink
I
it.
took one sip.
You gotta try a sip. I did, and I've been smelling it for a half hour.
We drank out of shoes, man. Come on.
That was better.
It's fair.
The shit cup for my first social was better than that.
Remember that?
Oh,
Story
she's
for
a
the-
rough one.
That's a story for the arena tonight.
Yeah, I drink Bailey's from an old shoe. Yeah, no, do not drink if you taste rotten eggs in your beer.
You smell it.
I don't know anybody that would touch their beer if it had rotten eggs in it.
All right, Carlos.
I can describe this flavor. I think the best way I could describe it is as
Florida.
Can do this.
What me, Rick, and Gordon have described it as.
now,
Florida.
let's say you made yourself a hard-boiled egg and you finish peeling off the shell, and then you watered it. You somehow turn it back from the solid hard-boiled egg back to a liquid form again.
Oh!
And then, and then in the process of doing that, you made it sour, and that's what it tastes like.
It's
Carlos
awful.
that. I got some more.
Here,
What do you got?
We're mixing all the leftovers.
This is some of the first one.
For fuck's sake, dude.
Have fun.
That rotten egg is
All right.
just killing me.
You got socks and eggs
It's all
all
left over.
right now.
Justin?
Oh Jesus. I don't know if I mean the egg thing is for sure, but it's got that mustardy kind of thing going on with it. That deviled egg versus hard boiled egg thing. Because you were wrong. Hard-boiled eggs are amazing.
I
will
love 'em
Fight
too.
you in the front lot.
Yep, and you will lose.
I don't want to fight. I just hate them.
No, that's fair. But
Individually, personally, I hate them, and it smells like Florida.
I get behind. I'll get behind. God damn it!
Still,
I'll get.
I'm defeated right now.
I will get
It
behind the
smells like
Florida
Florida.
comment 100%. That I've just realized now, thinking about, to me that it almost has that it tastes like vomit smells kind of thing, that mustardy acrid thing. I realized, no joke, within a 5-block radius of where I work, I've had that on multiple lines, from everything from lagers to stouts to ciders. I'm like, you
It's
are
a-
screwing up stuff.
Well, it's a very common flavor.
Is that something that was transferable by line as
No,
well?
so
I mean, like that,
so
or-
it's a very common. So anytime you're doing especially lager yeast are very common in putting off a lot of sulfur.
So here's how I like to kind of put it. I got two hands. Pretend I'm a yeast cell. So you see, I'm holding two things.
We're pretending.
Right, and this one in my right hand, it's sulfur. I'm gonna push that out of my cell, and I'm gonna grab something else, and I'm gonna do something with it. I'm gonna use it to metabolize the beer, and then the sulfur's out there, and that's not good. And so then I'm like, I'm gonna take this other thing that I changed into a good flavor for a lager. I'm gonna set it down. I'm gonna take the sulfur. I'm gonna put it back into my cell. I'm gonna be done fermenting, and I'm gonna drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So a lot of times with yeast, when they're metabolizing, they're setting crap down, picking up other crap, like, oh, that's shiny, and ooh, okay, yay, and then they put it down.
Well,
and
and
they
that's
put it back
why
up.
your
Feels like
fermentation.
sulfur is
Hold
a-
on, can you do that
big-
again?
It feels like I'm watching Khan
Sulfur is a
Academy.
big
it's
piece
sexy.
to that, where they won't. A lot of times they won't pick it all back up. So sometimes when you do get served a beer, and I will say this, that it is a little bit acceptable, but you'll have just a wee bit of sulfur on the nose, and you can even just kind of give it a little. It'll just blow with, and it's gone. So yes, there are also styles that are acceptable for there to be a bit of sulfur, and usually it has to do with lager fermentation.
Are we still pretending you're a yeast cell? Or do we stop that now?
No, we're
How long can you guys
But
keep
it-
this up for?
it's
Like,
like
can you
I'm
visit him at
watching-
work and be like, yo?
Yeast cells are wacky. They're a lot like human beings, man. They just want to party and hang out, and then when they're done, they want to rest.
Yep.
It's,
Well, and it's one of
Go to
those
bed.
things. That's why if you have a beer that's done fermenting, you let it sit for a while to clean up.
Yep.
And it
That's
cleans
part of-
up
that's
a
part of
lot of
lagering.
yeah, and that's why there's an extended lagering phase, because it cleans up all that sulfur or the majority of that sulfur and gets rid of it and drops it out for you.
Hopefully all of it, or to a
reasonable amount.
Such a reasonable amount that you fools can't smell it because
somebody needs to let Florida know.
Let Florida rest for a couple of years.
They need to rest.
simmer down.
All right. Pete.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
What do you got?
Oh, what do you got, man?
No, I just got a quick question about the whole effect of
go ahead.
flavor things. Is there some sort of infection that can cause an overly sweet or mapley sugar kind of?
That's under attenuation, usually.
English?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter which strain at all. That what you're describing is under attenuation. Period. So you didn't pitch enough yeast, or the sugar chains were too long and you fucked up your mash.
I just noticed because there's a brown ale that I was having bottled at another bar, and I've had it 100 times over. And this one, it's like it was way too sweet for that brewery, and it's like that's not right. Something's wrong. Yeah. So I told the bar, and they're like, "Well, we bought it." I'm like, "Well, it's wrong."
I just like some input. Like Gordon, what you're talking about is under attenuation, which in plain English is when you have sugars and you have yeast in a beer, and the yeast eat the sugar and turn it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So they split the sugar up. That's kind of their output. So when your yeast stop fermenting too early and don't eat all the sugar, you have a bunch of sugar left. That's what gives you your sweetness.
Well, you always have a bunch of sugar left, but we're talking what the saccharin, or like the really sweet is the little ones, and the bigger chains are like when we're drinking this, we're like, oh, it's got good body, you guys. Well, it's like those are like really big chains that weren't metabolized or chopped up.
And we're saying things like this, but really they're like super tiny.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it was like, almost like somebody
We're
took
also not on a camera.
thinned
Well, we
down
kind of are.
maple syrup and put it into my glass when I wasn't looking, kind of flavor.
And that'll happen. That'll happen when your smaller sugars aren't digested by the yeast.
It's a reason to do yeast count at your brewery so that you know that you've got there. It's kind of like cleaning, sanitizing, and sterilizing. There's like health, vitality, and
mana. There we go.
Man.
God damn it!
You can have enough mana, but sometimes that mana's tapped.
Well, like some plain English stuff, just like
anyway,
like in general, some plain English stuff. If I understand it right, because I kind of
Rick sort of understands things.
I'm in between the two. Like I don't understand and I do. I'm in there, and so like. To explain it a little bit simply, like, you make a beer, you mash it, you take all the sugars out of the grain, and then you ferment it, and it ferments all the sugars.
Not all of them.
Right. Well, it ferments
what they can.
Stuff that you took out.
What they're available
And
to.
then you add priming sugar, which is just simple chain sugars that are tiny chain. And that adds your carbonation.
Yep. The lazy ones will pick up and belch out some CO2.
You have yeast that's doing both of those things, but you're using the two different kinds of sugars to create different things. So you're creating alcohol with the longer chains.
And so when you manipulate your mash temperature, so when we're talking about, like what do we say? MALT, MALT is a good acronym. More alcohol, less temp.
Yeah.
So if we want a higher alcohol, we'll use a less of a temperature on our mash.
Right.
In some, we're using that lower mash temperature and manipulating it to release and do more chopping of smaller chains so it dries it out a little bit.
Right.
Now when you're drinking like an IPA, a lot of times we'll cheat and we'll throw literally table sugar in there because it's the smallest possible and it'll dry that beer out, which will, as long as you manipulate your water quality to accentuate hops, you can make this beer drier and make the hops pop more.
Right. And I feel like you're coming in at like homebrew bound level.
Yeah.
And I want to like take that into DOO level.
How do you do it? Make it happen.
Well, that's what I'm trying to explain. Is
We
like
need more
down,
acronyms like MALT,
down
That-
to
now
like
clearly
down
have
to
a
like
homebrew
where
level
Gordon's
Bomb
at,
level for
like
the past 20 minutes.
down to like where Gordon's at, like
Despite being kicked out of chemistry twice,
a little bit of like your bigger sugars are creating your alcohol, and then you're adding a little bit of simple sugars to create carbonation. Oversimplification, but that's
Your
kind of our
long-ass
duo.
waited comment made me do something I haven't had to do in 100 episodes.
Get
Just
up and go to
leave
the
in the
bathroom.
middle of the fucking show.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You already did.
I'm just trying to get it down to where we're all on the same page.
No, are like the
Lost me 10
longer
minutes ago.
sugars, are the bigger sugars, are those like actually like longer chains of molecules, or like just
Yeah.
that's what they are?
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. It's basically the way that's being put. Yeah.
All right.
Pac-Man eats one ABBA
And then
at a time.
or and the longer ones are centipede. There we go.
If there were more than 2 ABBAs, then Pac-Man would be like, no.
Nah, no thanks.
All right, so we're all on the same page. We don't like rotten eggs, right?
Yeah.
Is that where we ended up?
That was
Like-
yeah.
I thought we were all neutral on the. On
right,
raw
No,
eggs.
dude. Are we at like 2 hours here?
Yeah, we literally just hit the 2-hour mark.
Okay. Goodbye.
All right, no, and just to wrap this up, I kind of want to know what you guys think about this little experiment of ours. Like, did you guys learn anything?
A lot.
Was this a complete waste of time, Matt?
If it was like us hanging around a table with like 3 of us, I would have been better. But it took a little long for me.
Oh, I'm sorry that this didn't fit in your time.
You guys lost me on 3 beers ago. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm drunk and I can hear my heartbeat like beating in my head. I'm ready to get out of this basement right now.
I'm sorry that you don't have the attention
I
span
do
for
not
this.
right
Jesus.
All right, anybody besides Matt, Rick?
I think it was good. I think us like trying to pile up beers was bad, and I
We
tried to
didn't
slow
try to
that down.
pile up any beers.
Well, yeah, but like the paper one, I couldn't smell at all because it
Oh,
was
because
deleted.
of
I see.
yeah.
If we didn't
Oh, yeah,
pile
yeah,
up
yeah,
beers,
like-
it would have taken 10 more minutes though.
Given
Yeah, I
time
know it would have
constraints.
taken more time.
And Matt's face is so
I
red.
don't have a great solution. I'm just saying like
Seriously,
There were
I
a
can
couple
hear
of
my
them-
heartbeat in my ears right now.
there were a couple of them where the next beer was so overpowering
Yeah.
in smell that on this side of the table I couldn't even
Okay.
really
So
cooperate.
if we do something like this again,
But I thought it was still a valuable experience because I did learn like to differentiate quite a bit of flavor.
and Gordon, you kind of stumbled in on this. What'd you think of the entire thing?
I thought it was kind of interesting. Not brewing and never brewed before. It kind of put a name to different flavors I've had, whether it's macrobrew or microbrew. It's like, oh, that makes sense why this tasted that way, and I might go back through Untapped and try a few others and, from a different source.
Reevaluate some of your.
Yeah.
All right, Carlos.
I think we all learned a valuable lesson today, and that is that you
God
don't.
damn it, Carlos.
You're, you don't want your beer to taste like sour, hard-boiled eggs.
He learned something.
I guess. I mean, Justin.
Yeah, it's hard to follow that. like it's a goddamn wordsmith. No, it's. I mean, I'm around beer a lot. I understand profiles of beers fairly well. I mean, I'm by no means as advanced as some at the table, but for me, it was nice to get to know the science background of a little bit more and understand what's going on within the process, whether it be a brewing issue, whether it be a storage issue, anything like that, aging, whatever it may be, because that's it's useful in not only someone who maybe brews beers, as I said, like I'm like Gordon, I don't brew, I have never brewed,
But you serve.
but I'm constantly behind, in front of these taps, so it's nice to know like, hey, this is what this is. I just fucking learned about this.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, don't serve that beer. It smells like socks. And they're like, no, it's okay. It's just Coors. Like our running joke is at the end of the night we open the Coors tap and let it just drain out the tap tower. So we clean it. It's fine. But no, it was cool. I mean, thanks for having us in on this. I mean, we just kind of stumbled in a little bit early and
It happens.
all of a sudden, hey, beer.
Hey, shitty beer. All right.
Well, I mean,
good beer that we wrecked.
Yeah,
is
we
what it is.
we did intentionally break beer.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm not mad about this lager at all.
Oh, this
No,
this
the
Founders
Solid Gold-
like
This
Solid
is- I'm
Gold
not
is
mad.
amazing.
It's very good.
I can't reiterate that enough. This is a really good beer.
We have wrecked it throughout the night, but it is a very good lager.
Yes.
It's,
We have a bunch of dead cans here.
Yeah, we
getting
do.
sponsored requires that they pay you before you pitch them. You know that, right?
Oh no!
But no, I appreciate it.
Not again.
Well, we've been trying our method for years and it hasn't worked, but we're gonna keep going.
Damn right.
Much learning. I figured out that poop water tastes like whatever that socks one was. So whenever I say poop water, I'll say
Socks.
Sucks.
well,
water.
no, whatever it was,
Oh,
the actual name. For it.
Isovaleric acid.
Yeah, that's what I'll
You're
say.
you're not gonna say that.
Isovaleric acid water.
He's gonna cue Casey to figure it out.
What was that poop water there? Poop water.
That's isovaleric acid water.
All right, Brian. What did you think of this entire experiment?
I think it was great. I have done these before, but it never fails or ceases, or however you want to put it, never ceases to amaze me how completely and utterly different people's palates are. Period. I've been putting my heart on my sleeve, making beer professionally for more than 5 years, and you get all kinds of people saying things about this and that and the other, and it just goes to show you that everybody tastes so differently.
What? So I just got to know which flavor was the most surprising reaction at the table for you?
Any of the ones that people couldn't taste, knowing that we were doing this at 3 times what it would normally be,
And they were like, "Eh."
I don't know. I tasted
Wow.
some of them, but it is still drinkable.
exactly, and that's the crappy thing.
So are you guys gonna start making a construction paper
Well, no.
common?
Nah, Los.
What he
even
realizes
for
now
you,
is
brother.
he can sleep in a lot more. Like, I could just phone it in. People can't taste the difference anyway. Like,
Yeah, this it blows my mind, man. That's why some people like this pizza, some people like that pizza. But in the end, if you're buddy, if you're helping to move, you're gonna drink shitty beer and eat shitty cheap pizza, and it's gonna taste fucking awesome.
it's a good way to put it. Yeah, no, I was honestly surprised at how some of these I couldn't perceive as well as I thought I could. Like DMS specifically, I did not pick that one out as immediately as I thought I had. And then the one DMS beer that like I made that was a DMS bomb, I'm like, there was so much DMS in that now.
Yeah.
Holy shit. When your beer tastes like a can of cream corn, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And it's weird how some of these off flavors can also be like perks to some beers. Like if you're looking at specifically like a British or an English barley wine, the papery oxidation note helps pull out some of those dark fruit characters.
Right.
And is a help to that. And how like small amounts of certain things aren't a big deal. Like when you're looking at the dihydrogen sulfide or the rotten egg stuff.
Yeah.
You like a little bit of that in a lager, not so horrible. But,
Yeah, but again, a little bit
little.
goes a long way, especially
Yeah.
with canaries like that.
yeah. Or the cheesy old hops. You want
Yeah.
that in like a traditional lambic.
Cheese.
You don't want that in anything else.
No.
Keep your stinky hops away from my regular beer.
Don't put your stinky hops in my lager.
Yeah, but I feel like overall it was a very informative. And
It was good. It was good to learn, and it was good to try. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh, I hear the outro music.
Yeah.
That's because we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's, we're at like 2:10 here, and All right, guys. If you have any questions, comments, show ideas, or what have you, go ahead and shoot us an email at feedback@blindnewstudios.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/blindnewstudios. You can follow us on Twitter at blind_ninja. You can also watch us live on Twitch every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central at twitch.tv/blindnewstudios. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.